intro. Okay, ready? What's up, everybody? It's Chachi, aka Painful Truth, and I am here with my first interview video ever. As you know, it is Painful Truth Gaming, so I am going to be interviewing all kinds of different people, but for my first interview ever, I want to talk about my favorite game, Laser Storm, and I have a Laser Storm legend here with me today, Bill Fox. Bill Fox, say hi to all my tens and tens of followers there.
Hello, all dozens of you. Glad to be here today to help Chachi out and give a little bit of perspective on laser tag and Laser Storm in general.
So if any of you have ever seen the show Hot Ones, my wife actually turned me onto the show. It was where this guy just sits at a table and interviews celebrities, and he has had some of the biggest celebrities on his show. But what they do to make it interesting is in between questions, they eat hot wings that start off at mild and work their way all the way up to very hot. Now, I'm never one to copy off someone, but I did like the idea premise. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Hot Ones for inspiring me. You guys are awesome. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to go on YouTube. That's where they started. But now, of course, they have a show on television and they are killing it. You can even order their hot sauces, which I got my wife for Christmas. But I wanted to put a little spin on it. So while we're interviewing Mr. Fox today and asking him some hard-hitting questions, we're going to be tasting different energy drinks. Some from America, some from Jamaica, some from Korea. I don't even know where this one comes from because there's no English on it. We're going to be drinking them, answering questions, probably getting all messed up in the process, and we're going to see what comes out. So, Bill, you up for that?
Sounds like a good time.
All right, so I have put together 10 different energy drinks here, and we are going to start with our first one, which is a nod to you. This is a Dragon Ball Z drink, and we will talk a little bit more about that. So the way it's going to work is we are going to bring out our glasses. I'm going to pop this open. Very nice, as you can see, and they are cold, so don't worry. Let's take a look here. All right, so this one's clear. Bill?
I think most of them are, actually.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to smell them, we're going to tell you what they taste like, and then we're going to chug them, and we're going to answer a question. By the time we get to about here, I figure this interview should be really going off the rails, so make sure to stick with us.
Who needs to sleep tonight?
Here's the best part about this interview. As you notice, this video is going to be a little bit condensed and you'll be able to see us drinking the drinks, but the full version will be available on podcast. So you'll be able to listen to the entire interview on the podcast where we go in depth with some other things we won't be covering on the video side. So, Bill, cheers, bottoms up.
Cheers, brother.
Smells like nothing.
Yeah, it sounds like every energy drink ever.
Doesn't have that much of a taste. Not bad. It's fruity.
It's not good. I'm going to go with that one.
No, it's definitely not good. It's a little bit of lime. All right, let's not it.
It's like poor citrus.
And I'm already spilling it on me. Ooh, that's rough. All right, Bill, first question. Sure. Of course, what is your real name?
My real name is Dr. William Fox III, a.k.a. Bill Fox, a.k.a. Rave.
Excellent. Now, let me ask you, your alias is Rave. Why did you choose Rave?
So, it wasn't my first name.
Okay.
You know, when you first start out, they prompt you for a membership,
right.
Give you a name, a bunch of different ones I was going through. When I was younger, I started going with like some old D&D names of characters I had. When I started getting serious about it, I actually went through and looked at like all the stats, all the banners on the wall, getting inspiration for people's names.
Saw my name everywhere.
Sure, we'll go with that. But actually, since you're Ice, a lot of the ones that, to me back in the day, that were memorable were like short, sweet, one-liners, like 1-2 syllables, something that you can remember easily.
Right.
So I was going through a few, and I decided that I wanted one that represented my play style, as at the time at the time, it hasn't changed in these years. I really liked enjoying playing in the open and playing on offense. So, as you know, offensive play a lot of times is called dancing.
Yes.
So I wanted something kind of related to that. At the time in high school, I was actually going to raves as a other activity. So I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, I want something short and sweet, something that was my play style, something that I was doing at the time. Rave just kind of fit.
That's nice. That works out good. Now, you got to go through the list of accomplishments. Tell me some of the greatest hits here. That first energy drink is hitting. I didn't expect that. I thought this was going to be easy. My eyes are watering. So, yes, let's go through your list of accomplishments.
Oof. All right. I'll keep it short and sweet. 2-time national champion, 5 regional finals, 1 Top Gun championship, 3 Top Gun runner-ups, plethora of top 4s, 5 Armageddon championships, Lasertron World Championship, and then a variety of other podium finishes throughout the years.
So as you can see, I didn't choose just, some run-of-the-mill player here to talk with me. I picked one of the best on purpose because we want to really talk about LaserStorm. And as you know, my channel is dedicated to growing the game, and we're going to be talking to Bill a little bit more about that. So first drink's underway. We're good to go. Ooh. I know it is hitting me a little bit.
I'm feeling the heart bump.
You ready to move on to the second one?
I'm ready if you
are.
All
right, let's do that. All right, so we're going to go on to question number 2. Do you know what that means? Drink number 2. This one is near and dear to my heart. I found this. I don't even know where I found this, but this is a Mortal Kombat energy drink with Sub-Zero on the front. Little daunting. So let's see what this one's like. Okay. All right, let's grab a glass. Let's take a look. Oh, it's yellow. That yellow fluids are always good, right?
I had no idea they were making a Mortal Kombat.
Me neither. Oh, it smells.
All right, that one's strong.
This smells serious.
Yeah, this one smells very much like Red Bull. All right, cheers.
Let's go. It probably is Red Bull. No. Tastes a little bit like Red Bull, but it is sweeter.
Yeah, it doesn't have that like metallic taste that Red Bull has.
I kind of like it. I could drink this.
It's better than the other one. I'll give you that.
All right, Bill. Now we got to pound this. Here we go. Oh, who had this idea?
My hands are already shaking.
Woo!
We're only 2 in.
All right, here we go. Bill, how did you first get into LaserStorm?
So I originally got in as coming down on Thursday nights. A buddy of mine, I was a junior in high school. We were looking for something to do. They had played this thing called laser tag one time. It was a good deal. We didn't really have cars or anywhere to go, so a group of us just came down and got a few of us down, and we just played Fire Two Tire. This is back when we would do 4 hours for $12.
Right.
Which, when you're 16, broke, and don't have a car, that's a perfect
We have all been there.
Yeah, for real. So we really enjoyed it for a while, and then I don't know who did it, but after a while they asked. We eventually got more and more friends, but somebody asked us to come and play a regional. They're like, "Hey, you guys have been playing for a while. If you'd be interested to go to a tournament." And I'll never forget, our first tournament was up in Austintown, Ohio.
Okay.
Which I don't know if even exists anymore. But so a group of friends went up there that was playing tag on these Thursday nights. We got a speeding ticket trying to keep up with Zalgax because we didn't know where we were going. And then, so we came in, and it was 6 teams. And I'll never forget my first game. Now, we had never played leagues. We'd never played any tournament. We were just kind of doing this for fun.
So you just jumped right into the tournament?
Just jumped right in.
Okay.
It sounded cool.
Right.
So we go into the game. This was Blood Dumpster at the time. This was Zalgax, Red Dog, Zustin.
Which was one of the greatest teams to ever play LaserStorm. I wouldn't say the greatest, but arguably.
Good God, the talent.
Yes.
Ricky was on it, and Mizza. So we go in, we're their first game.
That's the way it always works. If you are the newest team, you will play the strongest team first game. Just be ready.
And they don't know us from anything.
Right.
They're there to prove a point. To this day, you cannot lose as bad as we lost. This was back in the day when our games were 12 minutes long.
Right.
They didn't miss a single pod cycle. Our best defense was Joe literally kicking Mike out of the pod because he wanted to get some of his stats. We lost 301 to 50. You can't even score 300 points anymore in a game.
But see, what does that show you, folks? If you come down to LaserStorm and you play and you get it handed to you, it doesn't matter because you can still go on to become one of the best players the game has ever seen. So take that butt whooping. If I can, I'll try and give it to you. But take that butt. It only makes you better. And we've obviously all been there.
Oh, we've all been there. And that was the thing. We got crushed,
right.
But I just loved it. It was such a fun time. It was fantastic. And that competitive urge was just there.
And you were hooked.
I was hooked. After that, I started coming down more. Eventually started working here and then started playing leagues and getting into it pretty seriously after that. But yeah, my first ever real tournament, 301-50. You'll never see a score like that again.
That's so awesome, though. I actually didn't know that. And to be honest, I don't know too many people that's ever come into Laser Storm and jumped right into a tournament. So that I think that fits Bill very well. If anyone knows Bill has played against him, it makes a lot more sense
Well,
now.
to be fair, like that's a credit to Daniewitz's recruiting strategy. I'm pretty sure he's the one who was working Thursday nights, who was just always getting people to come down.
Right.
You know, and like that big recruiting thing,
Right.
recruiting aspect is really what got a lot of us in.
Yep.
You know, and then sometimes you gotta experience, you gotta taste a little bit of it, and go crazy like we're about to do with all of these.
Yes. Speaking of, I think it's time for another question and another drink.
Oh God.
Whew, here we go. All right, moving on. Next question, next drink. We are back. It is time for our next question, our next drink. Bill, are you ready to go? Let's go. This
I'm
is
ready.
Toxic Rick from Rick and Morty.
All right. Does every franchise have an energy drink?
I
at this
think
point?
so. You know what? I think a Painful Truth energy drink would be worth it. What do you think? Can you imagine with it? Oh my God, it's blue. We both had the same reaction.
You would think it'd be green.
You would think that, and that's probably what's scary. Oh, it smells good.
Yeah, that definitely has like a blue raspberry stuff.
Oh, I like it. It's like a melted blue popsicle. Oh, I like this.
Do you remember those those blue tube popsicles?
Yeah, the Bomb Pops.
Yeah.
It's the bottom of the Bomb Pops.
It's the bottom of the Bomb Pops.
All right, here we go.
Cheers. Oh God. That wasn't that bad. That one actually tasted pretty good.
You want to know what the best part is? I have to take like Pepsid and stuff every day because
Oh,
I
dear
have.
God.
So by tonight, I'm going to be dead.
What were you thinking?
But for all of our ladies who are watching, I'm sure there's a lot of them, this is going to be an awesome part because, Bill, you're going to have to disrobe a little bit. I happen to know for a fact, you have a pretty badass tattoo. And I think you should share the story of how you got it, and I think we should take a look at it.
See, Chachi, I knew the whole reason you got me on here is for me to take off my shirt. I knew that's what it was
What he
about.
doesn't know is as the drinks goes on, more clothes is going to come on. No,
Oh,
I'm just
dear
kidding.
God.
This is a clean interview, kids. You can definitely still watch. But we're going to take a look at this awesome tattoo here.
Man, I'm glad I've been working out. Do you want the story or do you want the tattoo?
Let's get the story first, and then let's get a shot.
Okay, so I have one tattoo.
Okay.
It's on my arm. It is Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
As alluded to with the
Very first drink.
very first drink.
See, I was thinking.
So,
I did my research.
so I had always wanted a Vegeta tattoo. Grew up an anime kid in the early 90s watching Toonami. Dragon Ball Z was the first anime that I had seen. A lot of us have done it and seen it. We've had people here all over that have like taken that as their alias and names.
Right.
So like it's a big part of us and a big part of like the nerddom, you know. But Vegeta's always been my favorite character, and I always wanted a tattoo. Never really had the money. I never really found anybody that I liked, because traditionally most anime tattoos, and I apologize for people out there, are garbage.
Yes. And as someone who watches Ink Master religiously, even though I have no tattoos, I will critique someone's tattoo to death because I have watched every season, and trust me, I know how to. And when I saw his tattoo, trust me, when you get a look at it, you're going to see this is top notch. But sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, and you can understand why. Because like first off, being a tattoo artist is hard.
Yes.
Because like you have to understand drawing on skin.
Yes.
It's a difficult format in general.
And you have to be a very talented person. I mean, I have so
Yeah.
much respect for what they do.
Insanely. And then add on top of that, being a good anime artist,
Yes.
it's really, really hard to find. That wasn't until I was perusing Reddit one day in the Dragon Ball Z subforum, and somebody had posted a recent tattoo they had gotten. It was a Broly from DBZ, and it didn't look real. In fact, it looked better than a lot of the modern anime.
Oh, wow.
So I took a deep dive into it, and shout out to, if you want to look on Instagram of his work, his name is Simon K. Bell. My man is the best anime tattoo artist I've ever seen. Once I had seen his work, now there's nobody else that I would want to get a tattoo from, because you've seen the best. If I'm gonna get something on my body, I want him to do it.
Right.
The problem is he lives in Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
There's the catch, folks. We had everybody ready. Everybody was Googling the name. And I am going to tag him on here. So if you have the means, don't worry. You'll be able to reach out.
Give him some follows. He's a great guy. But on top of that, he's also very selective. He's very good at what he does,
He selects
obviously.
his canvases.
So
yes.
he opens up his bookings like 4 times a year for 3 months, and you have to submit what your idea is.
Wow.
And hope that you get selected. Granted, I don't know how many other tattoo artists do it, but since his schedule is so limited, he only takes on the projects he wants to do.
Right.
He puts a notice at every booking that he's going to select less than 10% of all applications.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting.
He gets thousands from across the world. So this past year, I've been in a better place with, financial-wise as you get older, I had a little extra money, and a booking submission came up. So I submitted what I wanted, which everyone will see, in hopes that, he'd pick it. Turns out, Vegeta is his favorite character, too.
Oh, wow.
So he emailed me. He's like, hey, Bill, love to do it. Haven't done the idea. Sounds pretty good. When can you come over? So I was like, I guess I'm going. I picked a date in May and booked a flight over immediately that day and went over and got it. Yeah, it was a 1 day, 1 8-hour session.
Wow.
But yeah, it was insanely worth it.
And that's why I chose someone like Bill. Bill's not just a great laser storm player. Bill's an interesting person. And that's why I wanted, for my very first interview, I wanted to get someone like that because, as you know, I love gaming, I love laser storm, but I consider myself pretty interesting. I do a lot of weird stuff.
That's for sure.
I play laser storm, I DJ, I play hockey, I do weird things. I play video games. And Bill's the same. And who else would get on a plane, fly over to Liverpool, get their first ever tattoo from a guy who had to pick them? I love that answer. I'm so glad I decided to ask this question, and let's see it.
All right. Well, the disrobe time.
I'm good. This is where the editing of the strip music's going to come in, so... Kids, don't worry. This is still a very clean show. Your parents can watch it with you. Nothing crazy is going to go on here. Don't worry. I don't have to be YouTube flagged.
So this is about 9 months healed.
Wow. Gorgeous. And as you can see, my wife Elisa is going to zoom in there and get a great shot. We're going to be posting a bunch of shots on there. That is a gorgeous tattoo, though. Wow.
I'll give you a picture of the fresh one, too.
It looks amazing. And it matches your shirt. I don't know if you coordinated that, but that's awesome.
I didn't, but I did pick the color scheme. For those that don't know, that's Vegeta doing Galka in Super Saiyan form blue. I chose it because the blue and the purple go really well.
And the saturation on it is very nice.
Put it up whenever it comes from the single.
And purple is my favorite color.
That's awesome.
So nice.
That's it. Why? All right.
Okay. All right, so here we are moving on. Question 4, that means drink number 4. Like you said, yes, I can tell my heart rate is a little better. I don't know if it's better. I think it would probably be worse. And it's time to get bucked up. Here we go. So this is a Sour Bucks.
I think that's like a pre-workout.
Yeah, this I actually got from GNC.
Another clear one.
Yeah, so this shouldn't be too bad. Now, keep in mind, these are all drinks that you could find pretty much anywhere. These are American drinks. We're going to start getting into, I think the next one's actually Korean. We're going to start getting into some different kind of energy drinks, and that's where it's going to get interesting. So, oh, that's very fruity. This is supposed to be sour, so my son would probably love this. Let's see.
This one at least smells better than the other ones.
I don't know about sour. It's like a sweeter Mountain Dew. Oh, it's got a nice aftertaste.
I'm not a fan. This tastes to me like you dissolve the warheads in water.
Which is probably what they did.
Probably what they did. That's exactly.
All right, let's go.
Cheers.
Down it.
Ugh. Nope.
He's so much faster at me than that. And I don't know if that's making it worse for me, but I can't help it. That's all I can do. All right, Bill.
This does bring back another laser tag memory for me, though.
Well, that's perfect because I do want to ask, what is your best? We all have, tremendous memories of Laser Storm. The community is awesome. We've been playing a very long time. We've got to experience a bunch of different things. What's your best Laser Storm memory?
So best is hard. As you can probably relate to. You've played longer than I have, and I played 20 years traveling.
Right.
But to narrow it down, I have an easy one. This one probably wasn't my favorite memory at the time, but it has since, and I'll explain why. A few years ago, for those that don't know, here in the Pittsburgh area, we have multiple stores, or we did have multiple stores,
right,
where we would constantly play a bunch of different laser tags. And pre-pandemic, I think it was 2019, maybe? I don't know if you heard this tournament or not. But after 10 years, Extreme Laser Storm Robinson was closing down because they had some lease issues with the center they're at. So our good buddy Dan Baker, who was running the store, they were having one last tournament to basically like close the store out. Now during this year, I didn't have a regular team and I wasn't really playing. But it's Baker's last tournament.
Right.
Good buddy of mine. I've supported his store for ages.
It was a fantastic arena.
Oh,
Fantastic
good God.
arena.
Yeah. Absolutely, probably one of my favorite that
Yeah.
we played in. You know, one of the more symmetrical ones. Always had good play on it.
Yep.
And the pack quality was always
Yes.
stellar.
Yes.
So obviously, I'm not going to miss DBs. And what better way to go than bring back my old team, Justice, for one last run?
Right.
So we pulled V, Cloud, Llama, Clueless, myself, and Shogus. None of us had played in like over a year. So we come in for the tournament, which is, it might have been finals, it might not have been, I don't think it was. But round robin double limb to end it. First game against somebody we don't know. Second game we win. Second game against Baker's B squad. And they ran our ass into the ground. Ran our ass into the ground.
Yes.
It like really showed like, hey, we have not been practicing.
Been on the other end of that.
Oh yeah. Young kids with good packs just running all over you. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
Right.
But throughout the course of the night, we got better. We remembered our skills. And ultimately, throughout the entirety of it, we ended up coming out and winning the tournament after coming out of retirement. Well, not retirement, but not playing for ages. We ended up winning that last tournament. One of the reasons that is so special to me is that is the last tournament that my team won. And mainly because of that is because Shogus is no longer with us.
Yes.
Rest in peace, big man. We miss you every day. But so that is one of the very few trophies that I still have and still have on display, mainly because, you know, that's the last big memory we have of us all going together.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, so we have 4 drinks down. We are on our 5th drink. This is the halfway point. And of course, at the halfway point, the questions and the drinks have to get a little bit more serious. All right. So this is called Sting. It is from Korea. It is made with something called Hong Sam. I don't know what that is. There's not very much English on here. Yeah. So, and I can't even really read the nutrition facts because it's not English.
How did you find some of these, Josh?
So I went online. Of course, I tried Amazon, some from eBay, and some I got from Boku Market and Exotic Snack Company. They said stuff.
Yeah.
Now, we were supposed to have, and I will tell you because we may see it on another interview, we were supposed to have a mega drink at the end.
Oh, dear.
It was Red Bull Menthol Lipus with Halls in it.
Are you trying to kill us?
I could tell that one I was probably going to vomit on that one. But good news is it was back ordered. I don't know who's ordering all this. Somebody's got COVID somewhere. And it was back ordered and they couldn't deliver it. So, all right, this is red. And I'm going to pour a little less in here this time because a Sting just kind of scares me. All right, here we go. Let's try this.
It smells fruity.
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's a very cherry.
Yeah, it doesn't taste. It tastes good.
Is it like?
You know what? I don't trust it. I'm just going to go on record. It tastes too good and it smells too good. I have a feeling this is going to be the one that it just wrecks something.
I mean, I have no idea what Korean energy drinks are about.
Well, we're going to find out. To Korea.
I think that was my favorite one so far. That's pretty good.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I like that one. That was good.
Ooh, okay. So, like I said, we're going to get a little bit more serious. That, is your tongue numb?
My heart is beating.
It's doing something to my tongue. That's weird. We talked about your best laser store memory. Let's talk about your biggest struggle or biggest regret. Kind of any way you want to go with that. Because, of course, we're all normal people. We play. We have a lot of fun. But it's not always, roses and things and rainbows here.
It's never roses.
Right.
Definitely no biggest regrets. I don't like to live life like that,
Right.
Everything you do kind of leads you to who you are right now, Maybe there are minor things like I wish I'd spent more time with people,
right.
or, wouldn't take some competition so seriously. But biggest struggle, my entire laser tag career has been pretty much a struggle, mainly because I choose to play the game. When I say that, I mean that once I got hooked on it, I pretty much wanted to do things my way.
Right.
I wanted to build my own team. I didn't want to take the easy street. I didn't want to be carried to these championships. I always wanted to have something that was, mine and with the people that I wanted to do it with. So I struck out on my own and basically did things against the grain, especially when I was early on. Like, one of the first things I did was I broke a major taboo back when I first started playing, and I played with Ohio.
Yes, he did. And I knew what he was going to say, because I remember them telling me, I went to a tournament where Bill's playing with Ohio, and there's a rivalry, just like, the Penguins and the Flyers, Pittsburgh and Ohio. And Bill did. He was one of the first people to cross over and choose to play with players from other stores.
Well, one of the reasons for that is that when I came in, it was kind of like a lull period where the massive rivalry was still there, but there wasn't the huge tournament scene. And George at the time, shout out to George Raptis,
Yes.
The Godfather himself, he was a big Armageddon person.
Yes.
And as somebody who was just started, loved the competition and really loved laser tag, and didn't really have those back-seated biases against the other teams.
Right.
He was like, "Hey, Bill, you seem really into this. Do you want to play Armageddon?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I went and played Armageddon, and then he asked me to go play the first ever Lasertron World Championships. And it was over the summer, I think 2005. It was like me, George, Gumby, and Kel from Ohio, and we met up with some other people. And so we went to play LTWC, and we're all in a room together, whatnot. And I'll never forget one of the nights, Gumby and I met up with one of the teams at Tron. We went and partied with them. And Gumby and I just stayed up and just chit-chatted the entire night, just talking this and that. And when I come home, I'm like, why would I hate Ohio? These guys are awesome. I just bonded with them and played in tournaments with them. I'm not going to come home this storm and be like, yeah, no, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, Bill, you want to play a few games? I was like, yeah, of course. And so I did that, and boy, was that a problem for everybody else that played in LSP.
Yes.
But I didn't care because, I wasn't going to be built to preconceived notions. I wanted to do things I wanted to do my way. And so after that, I just always wanted to make sure that I had my own team, and I wanted to make sure that my team in the tournament scene was at the best interest. And that comes into conflict with almost everybody else when you are, going against the grain.
Right.
And that leads to probably one of the better rivalry stories in Laserstorm is me versus Matt.
Yes. Which we're going to touch on a little bit. But you know what? Honestly, something I never told you, I remember that. And to be honest, that's one of the things that kind of gained some respect in my brain, even though I didn't voice it at the time, because I was very old school. And a lot of people know that I ride for my store. I was always, Laserstorm Pittsburgh, we're going to win, first ever Pittsburgh, national champion team. And I was all about it. And when he did that, even though, yes, I was with everyone else, I was like, I can't believe this guy's going to play for, what is he thinking? This is so disrespectful. But in my brain, I appreciated it because I'm a strategist and I'm a person, just like when I play card games, I don't play meta. I make life hard on myself. I can't do it. When I had my team here, I wanted to go against and beat dump truck. I didn't want to be on dump truck. I wanted to beat dump truck.
Right, exactly.
So I respected it. So yeah, I was one of the people who gave him a hard time when he came back because you were seen as a traitor kind of. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was like, I kind of like it.
I definitely was seen as a traitor. But after a while, everyone became cool with Ohio.
Oh yeah.
That kind of put me in the spotlight though, as somebody that was kind of outside the norms and just going to do what's best for the tournament scene. And because I had that spotlight, I'm also, and want to do things my own way, I was thrust in kind of a community leadership position. So that ended up kind of factioning people here and there.
Right.
And that was always the struggle. Not really so much the games. It was just the politics behind the tournament scenes and team forming, and sometimes it gets a little too personal when we're playing a game of flashlight tag. Yeah, and that was the big struggle.
And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize about Laserstorm is, it is a sport. to us. And, it's just like hockey and anything else. I played beer league hockey, and there's politics there on who's going to be on a team and who's going to be our goalie and who's going to start and who's going to play in overtime. It's the same thing here. And I've always equated it to Survivor, especially when it comes down to teams. I mean, you'd be surprised how cutthroat it is with some of these teams. People get kicked off. There was a big scandal a couple years ago with one of the Big E teams kicking off one of their top players and not telling them. And that, I remember reading, it's like, oh, this is crazy. They kicked off their player, but it ended up getting lawyers involved and everything else, because this was a big deal. They kicked off, and then what did he do? He went and started his own team and picked his own people, and it ended up helping the community. The same thing does go on here. Now, I don't want to turn anybody off of Laserstorm. It is a very accepting community, and it's fun to play.
Really not like that.
But when you get to that higher level, you have to earn your way. When you get onto a good regional team or a good national team, you got to earn your way on, and then you got to keep it. Because if not, there's going to be some new player coming up who wants your spot, especially if you're winning. No one knows that more than me. I'm one of the oldest players here. I'm playing against people half my age, and I know every game I go and play. Yeah. Sometimes I'm the one tooting my plus minus when we come out. I'm like, oh, Ice was plus 10, throwing it, because I want my team to know, like, hey, I'm still valuable over here. Don't be kicking me off. So don't make me and Bill go start a team. You don't want that.
The thing about it, though, is like you can understand why it happens, right?
Right.
So like with most of those organizations, there are, organizations behind it that like dictate the rules or like run things.
Right.
For us, specifically in Laserstorm, it is community run.
Right.
So there is no possible way that you can approach it without being biased in your own interest.
Yes.
Because we're all together. And it's hard to put that away. Some people don't, is what's ended up being the issue. And it's understandable because we all want to win.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. And losing isn't fun.
No.
So.
And it's hard to have those conversations. We've all been there. I mean, there's, conversations that go on behind the scenes. Do we replace this player? It could be somebody you've been playing with for years, but if you're just not winning, you're not winning. And we're all taking time out of our lives, and we're traveling to different states. We're traveling different places and putting our lives on hold to play this game. And, you feel like if a person's holding you back, it's hard because you know them. You hang out with them. You might have known them for 15 years, but what do you do?
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like it's you enter in those dynamics, especially when you do underhanded techniques to try and win.
Yeah.
Not you. I mean, like
right.
you in general.
Right. There's always scandal in Laserstorm, just like anything else. Trust me, but that's what makes it fun.
Well, I disagree with that.
Agree to disagree on that one.
Agree to disagree with that one. But like that ends up part of the struggle is that these people for 15, now 20 years.
Right.
And if they're going to stab you in the back to try and win, it's like cheating at board games. It's like,
yes.
like I was at your wedding. Like, come on now. Like, why are you doing this? Like, it's just a game of flashlight tag. But, we do want to win. And we're all competitive as hell, or else we wouldn't be here.
Right.
So, like, it is a weird balance and a weird struggle.
And I think a lot of us do have that sense of honor. I mean, and I think that comes, like you said, from the kind of like nerddom community. Because when you're playing D&D or you're playing games, you're supposed to play with a certain amount of honor and respect. You don't want to cheat at D&D. You don't want to cheat at something. So, yeah, I get that.
Well, that's where the interesting thing comes in. It's just like how you view honor and like what is allowed.
Right.
And like how you view like penalties.
Yes.
The aspects of our game. And everybody has varying opinions on one way or another. So that's where the conflicts and the struggle come in.
And I think you're seeing that in real life too. I mean, it's one of the biggest topics in the NFL and the NHL is the officiating. After every game, there's some call that blew the game, and we go through the same thing. When you're playing at this level, like he talked about, his first game was a blowout. But when you're playing competitive level, some of our games come down to 1 or 2 points, and if there's a couple penalties, it turns the game, and now you lost. You might have won the game, but you had penalties, and now you walk out of the arena and you're celebrating. You find out you lost the game. The first thing you want to do is, where's that ref? It's the same as the NFL people putting their hands on. It's the same thing with us. So yeah, I definitely understand that. And I think that's something that permeates all the way through. But yeah, we've all, and I think it's something we've all tried to correct, but it seems to be almost a necessary evil. The game it's watched by humans, it's played by humans.
Yeah. We're all emotional, especially when the adrenaline's pumping.
Oh my goodness, we're running around in a dark room. Yeah. I mean, people think
10 straight minutes.
And that's part of the thing I'm trying to get through with this channel is people think, they have their view of Laserstorm because they came down for a birthday party or an open event. And I'm showing them like, no, this is a competitive side. We're going full speed and we're playing and our adrenaline's up here. I mean, they're not 6 energy drinks in adrenaline up here, but
I mean, some people are. Some people are 6 energy drinks in doing it.
I know.
But yeah,
and it's kind of messing with me a little bit, but I think we'll be. Speaking of, let's move on to our next question. And boy, do I got an energy drink for you. Okay. Are you ready for this one? This one is straight up called cocaine. It is. I'm not lying. It's called
cocaine.
cocaine.
Kill us in the back half.
It's peach mango cocaine. I didn't know that was a thing. And it does have a little disclaimer on here. It says, warning, this message for people who are too stupid to recognize the obvious. This product does not contain the drug cocaine. Duh. This product is not intended to be an alternative to an illicit street drug, and anyone who thinks so is just an idiot. Gotta love that. Shout out to the cocaine PR team. All right, let's get this ready here.
I like that they have to put the disclaimer on.
Yeah, I know.
Just in case.
Because, people are just walking through, oh, cocaine.
cocaine. All right.
We're back to doing this again? I mean, it's whatever it takes nowadays. All right, let me cut there so I can change this. All right, this is going to be a fun one. All right, here we go.
I can't read that.
It's about Armageddon. All right, so shout out to the cocaine people. Awesome. Let's see what it tastes like. Very nice. Oh, I need a clean cup.
Let's see if
we
we
are
can
using
beat the
clean
last
cups.
one.
Sting did something to my insides after I drank
is
it.
shaking every time before this.
He's not
Like,
wrong.
I thought you were going to miss the glass.
Oh, it's
That's
peach.
very
peachy.
Oh, God, I'm not looking forward to this.
You don't like peach?
I hate anything that's artificial peach.
Right.
I can taste like the artificial, like artificial peach, artificial watermelon. I can't do it. Oh, yep.
Yep. All right, you're going to have to really struggle on this one. Here we go.
Well, luckily, I'm just chugging it. Oh. Where's the mango?
Ooh.
I don't taste any fucking mango in that. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
That's okay. I'm gonna edit those out. Don't worry. All right. So you've touched on Armageddon.
Yes.
No one on my page knows what Armageddon is because I haven't talked about it. So this is where I'm going to turn it over to you. Can you please explain to everyone watching what is Armageddon and tell me just all about it?
All right. Well, Armageddon was founded, I believe, in 2000 by Ricky Vega to be the ultimate test in laser tag skill. Now, whether that claim is true or not leaves much to the individual. But, so what Armageddon is, it is a traveling tournament. Usually it used to start off over 4th of July weekend, where you would form a team of 6 to 8 people, and you would play a basically mini tournament on anywhere from 6 to 8 different laser tag systems.
Wow.
So for people on this channel, LaserStorm is not the only laser tag
Right.
system.
That is correct. Yes.
There are, there used to be dozens. I'm not sure how many there are right now. But each system plays differently, and each system has their own rules, they have their own technicalities, and they have their own kind of community and culture behind them. Being good at one does not guarantee you'll be good at the other ones.
Right.
And so what a lot the tournament is you do these mini tournaments, and whoever has the most wins after playing all of them is the Armageddon champion.
Right.
And that has been going on and off for 20-some years. They're
Wow.
doing another one this summer. I played since 2005, like I aforementioned, George brought me in, and I instantly loved it. It is a tournament for those that love laser tag and want to have more than their own system.
Right.
Being competitive at Storm wasn't enough for me.
Right.
There was just so many other things to go and do and see and experience.
And this is an international tournament, correct?
So it started off as, it is international now,
Okay.
Or it has been in the past, but it started off in Texas when Ricky did it, and it has traveled to different sites, but it has gotten the attention of laser taggers from around the world.
That's awesome.
The biggest example is the Swedes. The Swedes are a hell of a group of laser tag players, probably some of the best you'll ever meet. But it got to the point where they would bring over a full team. I played with them one year, and we won, just to play and compete in their own. And then we've had people from Australia, the United Kingdom, we had a team from Russia come over, and they've gone back and run their own tournaments, like mini Armageddons there, their own Armageddons there.
Now, do they have laser storm in these other countries? Because I'm getting a little
they do
excited.
not.
Okay, as I say, I was like, me and my wife were gonna be on a plane in 2 seconds. I will go play the Swedes right now. If you're watching, bring it. No, I love you, Sweden. Trust me.
So
please subscribe.
LaserStorm, just to build back here, when Bob Cooney did it, one of the things that LaserStorm is known for, why it became popular, is because it be put in other larger facilities, and it was cheap. Let's be honest with you, the equipment's cheap, and it was something that you can add on. those kind of larger facilities, now I'm not an expert in Europe, so correct me if I'm wrong, don't really have, just large spaces. Like space is more of a prime resource there. So you're not going to have just like an add-on cheap, especially if you're going to ship it over from
Right.
the United States. And in addition, a lot of Europe has their own systems over there, and certain places like Germany have their own laws on like what can and cannot be.
Right.
Like, for instance, for a while, I don't know if it's still the case, so I'm not a lawyer, you could not have any toy that looked like an actual gun.
Right.
And the phaser, our laser storm phaser is far too close.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the systems they have there, like they're big, like overblown, like blobs, so you realize, all right, this isn't real. You can't
Right.
like, imitate it. But no, laser storm is not over in those other countries, sadly. That is a US thing. But they do have some other ones. There are some that are international, like Laser Force, where we play the Space Marines 5, where everybody has a different role, and you have like ammo caps and lives, which is a very, very fun game. You have, believe... Oh,
You know what?
Oh, boy.
I was going to ask you because I've
Oh.
quietly been doing that back here and fighting it, and
I can't with the 5 energy.
It's okay.
Excuse me, 6
Yeah,
energy
it's
comes back
bad.
up.
It's not good.
But they have had a few, like Qzar was big in the UK. That was also started over here. Darklight was big. Darklight was big over in Europe as well. But they have their own over there. Some laser tags like Laser Max, from what I understand, is a UK based. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me in the comments. But the overarching point is there are so many.
Right.
And then each one has their own tournament scene.
Right.
And oftentimes, a lot of the best from those are looking for more challenges or just something different. They end up at Armageddon. And then those players congregate because everyone's like-minded. It's like if you're competitive to a fault, you're going to get close to other competitive players.
Right.
And end up having a good time. Now, I will admit, a lot of times too, a lot of people go for fun, and it is a great party weekend.
Yes, I've seen the pictures. Right, I've seen the pictures.
So a lot of drinking happens on that, but that was never really my main thing.
Which we don't condone.
We do not condone that.
No.
We don't
Unless they're energy drinks, which
I
can
mean,
probably
if
do
you-
even more damage.
If you're of age, by all means.
Yes, exactly.
But we don't condone underage drinking here, especially at laser tag tournaments.
Even though sometimes you play better.
Not me. Too drunk.
Maybe it's just because my normal shot is.
Oh, the amount of times like we've woken up to go play tag and be hungover has just been.
Oh, yes. Nothing worse than a flashing red light when you're hungry. Oh, it hurts like right here. It's a brain thing. Oh.
Yeah. I can use some pictures. That's it. Recording. All right, here we go.
Woo. Okay.
I can't read that.
All right, Bill, we are more than halfway done. We have some great stories already, but we still have a couple more to go. And now we are getting into the international drinks. This is called Boom Energy Drink, and it is from Jamaica. And you can see it is a giant drink, so we're not going to drink all this. But let's see.
It's the first one that's come in a plastic bottle.
Yeah, and it's massive. And now it says it does have ginseng in it, so this is going to mess with us a little bit because ginseng gets you on the back end, that's for sure. And that's probably all we're going to taste, I would assume. All right, so smell.
This one's strong.
Well, if you've ever been... Ooh! This has a weird aftertaste, almost like a coffee. Are you getting that? There's some... I can't...
I wouldn't say coffee, but it definitely lingers.
Well, I mean, anyone that's been in Jamaica, that's all cliff diving and spelunking and everything they do. So, I mean, I'm sure we got to have something. So, let's take it to the head and find out how it works out. Oh, I could drink that every day, though.
It's like a stronger Red Bull.
I'm not going to lie, I could drink that. I'm glad that came in such a big container because I'm going to be crushing that tomorrow. When I'm doing the editing for this, I'm going to be sitting there flying around like, oh my God, it is. Okay, so question number 7. Let's try, we're going to try and speed it up a little bit just so we live. What advice would you give to new players or people interested in playing Laser Storm, which is exactly the audience I'm hoping to reach so people can understand what we do?
Okay. I mean, that's a good one. The first thing I would say is come play,
Yes.
obviously, if they're interested. Don't be put off by it. Come find it. Enjoy it. Then look for groups that are around it. If you're already playing, my biggest advice would be to pretty much determine what you want out of this. Do you want to be competitive?
Right.
Are you just doing this for fun? And then the advice will break off from there. If you're just doing it for fun, join at leagues.
Yep.
Enjoy it. Meet some friends. Don't be shy about it. Listen to whatever advice people give you. If you want to be competitive, be ready for a long road.
Yes.
It's not an easy game. Like, it looks like it is for flashlight tag, but I will say Storm in particular, as compared to other laser tags, has a very high skill floor. It takes a while to understand our game and the nuances, especially just to hold drone against somebody like me or you. Be prepared to put in the work.
Yes.
And by what I mean work, I mean don't come for 2 games of leagues and leave and complain that you're not getting better.
Yeah,
Like,
don't
that's
get
not the work.
discouraged. It takes time.
It takes a lot of time. Like we used to say, it takes a minimum 6 months of consistent practice just to be able to stay in the arena with people.
Yeah.
And like that's just to stay in the arena. To get to the top level, it's going to take years.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that like it can't be fun and you don't have good games. You know,
Right.
It is a blast in and of itself. But yeah, so determine what you want. Make sure you have that mindset. And if you want to be good, get to work.
And of course, you're going to have access to something we didn't have, which are my videos. Not saying I'm the greatest person in the world, but I'm going to be showing you, techniques and different things that it took me years to learn. And that's one thing I'm hoping to do is to shortcut that. So rather than somebody going in and, getting shot with a Wilson or something, what is that? And then having to learn it, I'm going to break it down, teach you how it works, how to defend against it, and hopefully speed up your time so you can get in and start playing. Because to be honest, we have a nice competitive kind of community going here, but we're always looking for new teams, and we like when new teams come in advance and enter that because it makes it more fun. At any given time, there's 1 to 2, sometimes 3 really good competitive teams. We like it when it's 4, 5, 6. That's when it's fun.
To be fair, there are times when I've been hit by a Wilson and still go, what the hell is that?
There's times I've been hit by a lot of stuff, and I start looking around here like, okay,
Where did that come
what
from?
are the sentries on? Like, well, there's no... I guarantee we could go back in some of my gameplay footage and you're going to hear me on the GoPro say, how in the hell did I just get hit? Because I'm like tucked in a corner where I could even be on the other side and somehow I'm still getting hit. I'm like, all right, that's ridiculous. And then I have to walk all the way back to the end.
Chachi, I still have memories of fighting you and you going, what the hell is happening right now?
I've been in that position a lot. All right, so 3 drinks to go. Can we do it? You're going to have to watch all the way to the end to find out.
I hope so.
All right. Did you find your phone?
All right, what are we on now?
Ooh, we are down to drink number 8, and I'm not going to lie, it's pretty serious. I'm feeling it. When I first had this idea, I thought it'd be pretty easy because, I drink energy drinks every day, but I'm starting to wonder about this here. We're not going to end up in a hospital. That's the biggest thing. All right, so this is Oxy Shred. It does have 0 sugar, but it's supposed to give you more energy, 0 crash, fresh focus, and good vibes. We all need good vibes, right?
I feel like the other 9 are going to cancel that out.
I don't think Sting had good vibes.
I liked Sting.
This
I
is
think that was my
definitely
favorite one so far.
This is a cola. This is a cola, which is good.
Okay.
All right.
Cola energy.
Yeah, it's
I don't think I
but
had
it
one.
smells. Oh, that is not appealing.
Don't like that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Where's this one from? Ooh, that tastes great.
Oh, you think so?
I love it. It does. It tastes like cola.
Yeah, but it tastes like the worst diet cola ever.
Oh, no, I just...
Well,
I
one thing
disagree.
we've
I like
learned,
this
me
one.
and Bill have very different tastes. You chugged it already?
Oh, it
You're
was-
killing me. My
Good.
goodness.
I like that one. That was great. Where was that one from? It must have been the...
I want to say Poland. I think this was the Polish one.
Well, let's go.
I did not like that.
Oh.
I didn't like
That was
it.
my favorite so far. Yeah.
I didn't like
We
it
have
at
a
all.
different opinion on that one.
Oh, well, that brings us into a great question for a cola like that. Bill, what is the hardest thing playing against me? Did you think we were going to get all the way through the question line without one question like this? What is the most challenging thing playing against ice? Go ahead, you can tell everyone.
When you're backed up by Matt.
Oh, man. Well,
No. So,
that burned even worse than the energy drink.
so for our dear listeners, I will give Chachi his due. Chachi is a great defender.
Thank you.
Chachi's a great communicator, and he's good at adapting. So when Chachi is in his element and has a lot of places to go, he's hard to track down. However,
Here it comes.
as I was alluding to another one, when Chachi's alone and doesn't have a lot, boy, is that fun.
And let me go on record as saying, You know, I make my living on defense by saying, leave me by myself. I will defend the pod by myself so that I can have my team rush. This guy here figures that out about halfway through a tournament season. Then what do? I start getting keyed on by 2 or 3 players so that when I'm by myself, I can't move. And then our pod starts going off. That was a great strategy, by the way, but man, did that chap my ass.
But that was not the one, yes, that does occur, but that is not the memory that I'm referring to. I don't know if you remember, this was a regional finals years ago. You were playing with Fred, Matt, and you were on like a corner energizer, like by yourself, and there was like a little alcove that like came to fight it, and then it could go up here to the pod.
Right.
So long range.
Right. I always like to have 2 different options to play, right?
Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, none of them were good for you. Because I'll never forget the first minute of that tournament. I'm up there in the open and just like on your, right in front of you.
Yeah.
Dear listener, it went 8-0 my favor with Chachi running, screaming for Fred, asking for help. And I was just like, well, this corner's mine for the rest of the game.
Yep. And you know what? That has happened to me in so many arenas. But I take it as a compliment. It's happened. Ohio's done it to me. A lot of. There was a tournament in Ohio where we were playing against Retribution, and the first game I had my way with them. I mean, it is always me versus Creep and Reflex. Everyone knows that. It's a great rivalry. We respect each other. We pair up well against each other. So I look forward to it. They look forward to it. We never really get the best of each other. I'll shoot them by 1 or 2. They'll shoot me by 1 or 2. No one really owns anybody, but this was an exception. I came out and I had Reflex probably 8-1. I had Creep probably 6-0. I'm telling Matt, I got this. We got them hemmed up. There's nothing they could do. Oh, no. They adapted. So here I go. I get in my spot. The game starts. I turn. Boom. I have beams coming in. They pinned me in. I couldn't move. And then what did they do? They had their other team go, or the rest of their team go right through and start hitting the pot. And then Matt's yelling at me the way I yell at her. Chachi, why are they hitting the pot? It's like, I can't even see the pot, Matt. So trust me, that style's come back to bite me more than it. But that was a fun question. That was just a fun one we like to throw in. I'm really not an egomaniac. Trust me, I just had to throw him off guard a little bit because I know he was waiting for it. But that brings us on to the serious part.
Oh boy.
This is Red Bull from Japan. There is no English on this label, and as you notice, it's a very small container, which definitely has me worried. Okay, so since we're doing this, we're going to make this fun. This is the speed round. I'm going to fire rapid fire questions at Bill, and he's going to answer as fast as he can. I'm literally pouring it like medicine.
It kind of looks like medicine.
It's so little. It's so tiny.
Thicker than normal ones.
And you know what? It has a bunch of words on here, which I assume are warnings. And it's just, yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get Red Bull directly from Germany or Austria.
I mean, it smells like regular Red Bull, right?
It does smell like regular Red Bull. It looks thicker.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely... Oh, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's not carbonated.
It's not really carbonated, no.
All right.
Let's see.
All
right, ready?
Well,
3.
I think we're in the speed round.
Here we go, speed round. I'm going to fire these questions at you. Oh, that goes down smooth. All right, here we go. Bill, are you ready? Speed round, here we go. Favorite player to play with?
Play with?
Yes.
Rich Kester.
Rich Kester, nice. Biggest rival? Expand.
Oh. Arguably, for a 10-year period, the 2 best players in the game just going at each other.
Yes.
It's for a long while, I was one of the only ones that could beat him if my teams would beat him. But Expand, I mean, Matt and I are 2 different ideologies.
Yes.
In that we both took advantage of what was available to us to get better. In my honest opinion, there are not 2 players in this game that have worked more for where they're at than Matt and myself. Matt took advantage of the fact that his dad owns this and was able to put in those games to refine his skill to be the best in the game. And that is no light statement. Matt is the best.
Yes, I would agree.
I didn't have that luxury. So what I did instead is I embraced Armageddon and just being competitive as possible. So there was a time when I was going to a laser tag tournament every other weekend, whether it was Storm, Zone, Armageddon, Mini-Geddons, DLWC, or Dark Lights. I was going as much as I could just to maintain competitive aspects constantly be in a state of competition and to try to learn from outside of their systems to bring it in the Storm.
Fair. And Matt's also going to be doing an interview with us soon, so we'll be able to get the other side of that as well.
Yeah,
so, favorite
it'll be
arena?
different.
Favorite arena?
Favorite Laser Storm or otherwise?
Any.
Laser Storm, favorite arena for Laser Storm was XLS.
Yes.
That's Baker Store, by far. That's not a question. My most favorite arena that I've played in is probably, there's one in Lexington, Kentucky that's a Force. It's one of the coolest arenas I've ever been in. It's all very Egyptian themed, but it is a great like up and down. It's very, very cool.
I'll see if I can get some of that information and tag it on here too. I'd like to check it out. That sounds cool.
It's really, really cool. We actually have videos of us from that tournament.
Oh, you got to send those to
I
me.
think Jabber kind of did it, if you're watching Jabber.
Send them
If
to
you've
me,
got some,
please.
give it to Chachi.
Yes. Okay, so I think I already know this one. Favorite position to play?
I'm offense, baby.
I know that. As someone who plays defense, I know that. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit scandalous here. Who's the easiest player to hit?
Regular player?
I'd say yeah, competitive regular player. And we're not taking digs at anybody. It's just a speed round.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah,
It's truthfully, I honestly don't know.
I would say when we used to play before, there were some people who, were pretty easy to hit just by the way they, held their phase or the way they played. They were predictable, but everybody's changed so much. I'd have to agree.
One of the things that's great about how since we continue to play, the skill floor of everybody has raised.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So it's just gotten more and more difficult against like just regular players. And the thing is, based on the way our game works, with how many factors there are, everybody has the chance to have like that great day.
Right.
So like, there's really never not somebody always has a great day.
Now, with that in mind, who do you see emerging as some of the best players in Laser Storm? You can name more than one. I mean, we talk about Matt, we talk about what a force he is, but of course we're all getting older. You're getting older, I'm getting older, and our time's going to come, which is part of the reason I'm making these videos. I'm trying to train and help the next generation. Who's going to lead that next generation?
So the problem is I don't know a lot of the people that are playing regularly now from leagues and other scenes. But like I'm not the only one that said this, have known that Creep and X and Tyler are going to take over the game.
Do you ever see them splitting? The way that...
Depends. I don't know.
I think that would be interesting.
Maybe.
They've played together so long.
It depends on what they want. I know, because I used to mentor them back at Baker Store
Right.
a lot. And before I retired recently, I was playing with them regularly.
Yes.
I really can't see them, but anything is possible. They may strike it out on their own for other people without Baker and
Right.
SK, because Baker and SK, who knows how long they want to keep playing.
Right.
But I could see them striking back out on their own. But they are like what Matt and I were years ago, and Ricky and Justin and all
Yes.
of them.
And I've always
And
said,
Andy.
and I've gone on record as saying it, just by the way we play, if I ever went on a team without Matt, I would take Reflex in a minute. Me and him on the same team would just be the greatest. Well, because we always play against each other.
Of course, I'm going to take the best players in the game.
Well, no, I've done that my whole career, though. Like, when I go against somebody and we're so evenly matched, the first thing I want to do is play with them.
Yeah.
It was like when, I came up against Chris. Well, I can't say me and Chris Foreman were ever evenly matched. He was just a phenomenon. But I want him on my team. And then Jeremy, I wanted him on my team. And the only one I didn't want on my team was Matt, because I wanted to beat Matt. And we did. And then it got to the point where, me and Matt became such great friends that I had to play with him. It worked out nice. But yeah, I'm always thinking the same way you are. And I'm like, you know what? Me and Reflex would be a team. All right, so that ends our speed round. That brings us to our final question, and the drink I have been dreading. We're going to get into that right now. All right, last one. So we are at the final question. Like they say on Hot Ones, we are at the top of the mountain. Once again, we're not stealing from, we are inspired by it, and we love them. So thank you guys so much. You are a really cool show. And my wife watches it all the time. Like, they're going to stay on TV because my wife is a loyal watcher. She watches them 2 or 3 times. So this is it, the final one.
What do we got?
I don't even know. It is called
That's comforting.
Sol de Lit, Cious.
Yep. Nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
When you need to revive.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You know what? And I don't even know what country it is. When you need to revive, drink a Sol de Lit Energize energy drink. Oh my goodness.
Sounds French.
It does. We got to go a little bit higher on this one because we always do a lot at the end.
Of course we do.
There we go.
All right.
Bill, I want to thank you so much. It's been an honor to get to talk to you today, for sharing with everybody.
Pleasure is mine, sir.
Let's do it. Oh, what is that?
It's like a bad Red Bull.
Oh, it's like turpentine.
That has a nasty aftertaste.
That is not right.
Oh, next time chasers, brother.
Oh,
Chasers.
I don't even know what to chase that with.
Water, something.
Oh, why would anyone drink this? And I don't even know where I'm gonna have to look back at where I go. Oh, wow! I really saved the best for last,
really
didn't I?
Save the best for last.
Oh, okay. So with that in mind, we got to struggle through it. Question 10. Bill, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered when you're done playing tag? Because I know you're not done.
Oh, you know I'm not done?
I know you're not done. We all come back. We always come back.
You know, that's a tough question because like what that is has changed over the years. You know, when I first started, I wanted to be remembered as one of the best. But like as you play and you go through the struggle and you start winning, you don't want winning to define you after a while. Because winning's hard, right? I just want to be remembered as somebody that helped push it forward, kept it alive for a bit going on there with like my efforts, either running tournaments, creating the Facebook group, making sure to have other teams here so that we can keep going through our lulls that we do. But yeah, if my legacy is anything, I just want to be remembered as, a leader, as somebody that still stood up for what he believed in and still worked towards that.
I think that's an excellent answer. And I will tell you, at least from my perspective, and I'm not very full myself, but I consider myself someone who's played a long time and been an integral part of the community. I do think you're one of the best players in the game. So you've already achieved that. That's why we're here today. But more importantly, he is a doctor as well. This is Dr. Fox. Will you tell me a little bit about that?
So yes, I got my doctorate a few years ago. It's in business administration. But I think what you're really asking is, what did I do my dissertation in?
That's what I really want to know, because this is key. So yes, Bill, what did you do your dissertation on?
So as a love letter to the community, I did my doctoral dissertation on the laser tag industry. Yes. So just to give the quick highlights, it was basically an innovation paper that was to examine the sustainability as laser tag as a form of entertainment. In the wake of like advancing technologies like VR, actual reality, and such like that. The big summation is that yes, it is. A lot of times these businesses fail because of not so much new technologies coming out, but not being able to adapt to other outside factors. They don't put enough information into it, or just granted like small business mistakes. The problem is this was all pre-pandemic.
Right.
So all of that is just like out the window. Because the market in the industry has changed greatly. Like you will very rarely see any more standalone laser storms like this or laser tag places.
Right.
Like
It's becoming integrated.
Yes. Well, so laser tag systems are so expensive anymore. And granted, this is pre-pandemic, so I have not kept up with it. Where you need a lot of funded capital, and it's more of like an add-on attraction to these larger entertainment facilities.
Right.
And with the way things are going right now, where that's leading, I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. Because they're always putting out new laser tag systems, new centers are always popping up, or entertainment places with centers popping up. So we're still going in the future, and virtual reality is not going to overtake laser tag. That's the one thing that it was the conclusion of the paper.
Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate you taking time with us today. We made it all the way through. My heart is going a little faster. Now, there is a lot more. Any of you watching this video, it has been edited down for time, so we didn't get all of Bill's details, but the good news is you're going to get the entire interview on the podcast side. So please switch over to the podcast side on my YouTube page where you can hear all of it. Now, also, after we shut down the cameras, I'm going to have a couple more questions for Bill that are only going to be available on the podcast. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to come down to Laser Storm and play. You'll get to see myself. You might see Bill as well. The biggest thing is we do have a thriving tournament scene right now. There's actually a tournament coming up in just a few weeks. So come on down, get involved, play leagues, play tournaments. If you're worried about how to play, watch my videos, or if you have any questions, you can always ask Bill questions. We ask questions all the time. It's not like we know everything, so bounce some things off. But I really appreciate you coming on, and you are my first interview.
My pleasure, buddy.
Bill, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching.
The people, when they realize that
I was telling Chachi, we could.
All right, here we go. Podcast only exclusives.
Oh, fun.
Thank you guys for switching over to the podcast. This is where we're going to ask Bill a few more questions, and of course, you are going to get the full unedited, part. So all of the things you expanded on, all the things you talked about, that unfortunately I may have had to edit out for time because everyone who watches the YouTube videos, they're too long. We don't have as much time. So you guys can just chill and listen to the podcast and get all the uncensored view. Now, kids, just so you know, the podcast is uncensored. There's not going to be anything bleeped down on here. So if you want to watch the safe version, please watch the video. The podcast is not safe for work and is going to be unedited. So not that we're going to be talking about anything crazy, but just, a couple swear words here and there. Kids don't hear swear words anymore. All right. So, Bill.
You're not going to make me take off my shirt again, are you?
Well, I mean, they can't see this time, so I'm actually not wearing pants.
Off.
Yeah. I mean, my pants have been off since the third drink, so it really doesn't matter.
Unintended side effect.
Oh, once we got to Mortal Kombat, everything just, I actually blacked out after that. I don't remember anything we talked about. So I'm going to have to watch this back in editing. Just remember your answers. So if you could put together a dream team, 5 people for the fate of the universe, we're getting invaded by aliens. You got to play one game. Who's your dream team?
Oh, that's a good question.
You don't have to put me on it. I won't be offended.
Good, because you're not on it.
Okay, he's like, F1's never going to be a thing.
No,
that's fine. I'm playing for the aliens anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
And I was the fucking traitor. The problem is, there's just so many good people. We've got some all-time greats. So if I'm going through history, alive and dead. So RIP to those that are not with us.
And we're going to be talking about that, yeah.
Hell, I might not even put myself on this.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So it really depends on that's the weird thing about our game. It depends on the arena, where we're playing. If we're playing Storm, Matt's on there first and foremost.
Yeah.
We're let's get the easy one out.
Yeah, gotta put Matt on.
Matt's on there. Warman's on there.
Oh yes. As someone who played with Chris and recruited, I mean,
I played with Chris twice.
Amazing.
God.
Amazing.
So just as the sidetrack, just a little bit before I finish this answer, I think Chris versus Matt is such a good example of hard work and skill versus raw talent.
Yes.
Chris might be the most talented person I've ever seen play laser tag.
And I would agree. As somebody who's played with both. I mean, I have a little bit of a unique insight because I did win, we won our first national title with Chris. And I mean, just seeing him firsthand.
Oh, yeah.
I was always so impressed. And it was always kind of sad to me that, he never kept playing. But,
Sure.
he had a great, he's having a great life. He was on, going to concerts all the time. He played volleyball. He was very talented. But I mean, somebody who, man, you just wonder what he would have accomplished.
Yeah.
My God.
If that's always the fun question is if the people with talent could put in as much work and effort that Matt did,
Yeah.
what would they be? That's
Right.
not to take away from Matt.
No, not at all.
Matt to me is the ultimate technical player. He is the most skillful person we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He has earned that moniker. He has put so much time and effort that the shit he does isn't crazy, but it's the most consistent you'll ever
It's
see.
polished. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the most polished player ever.
Yeah. And I wouldn't, I don't throw this around lightly, but I would give it a little bit of Crosby-esque as far as always trying to look at something to work on.
Yeah.
He realized he wasn't very defensive minded and he wanted to work on that a little bit. He wanted to work on middle a little bit. So it doesn't always work out. I mean, obviously he has his strengths. He's not, overpowering at everything.
Yeah. Matt has his weaknesses.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We all do.
Yeah, we all do.
Because there is a consensus. A lot of people think that, you guys just win because you have Matt. I can tell you from playing a lot of tournaments, Matt's had some shitty tournaments. He's had some months where we've had to carry him, and he will be the first one to say that. He's going to, guys, I suck. Where he's gone negative 10 or 15, and we have to make up for that. It's not easy.
Well, I think we'll transition to that a little bit later in how I view the game. But
Yeah.
Matt, we all have our weaknesses, but I think Matt is the epitome of what happens to talent when talent stops working hard.
Yeah.
Hard work trumps talent every time.
Yeah.
That's Matt. Matt, no one has worked harder at polishing their game than Matt.
Right.
It is no one close. So Matt Warman.
Yep. Matt Warman. Yep.
Matt Warman. Kirby. Rest
Yes.
in peace. Kirby's excellent on it. Those are the 3 easy ones.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And then it's how you want to balance it out. Are we just taking the best talented players? Are we forming a team?
I think that's part of the question. I think it's supposed to be the best team, so I think we have to be well-rounded. Like, let's just say whoever we're playing, whether it's the Aliens or Satan's team or whatever, is going to be a good pod rush team. So we need some defensemen on it. We need some people.
If we're doing best team, like cohesion whole, I'm on that one.
Yep.
For sure. Because a lot of where I focus my areas of the game are communication, awareness, tactical, and yes, I'm an offensive player, but like it's mainly because offense is the hardest, and like sometimes you got to do that.
I didn't even think that was
Fuck
still.
was that?
I don't know, but I didn't think it was still recording. We're on podcast, so it doesn't matter.
But like, that's not an easy call for me to make. Well, it's an easy call for me because I'm biased. It's me. But if we're going like talent level, I'm probably putting Gumby on there.
Yeah, I would co-sign that.
I'm putting Gumby on there.
Yeah. Gumby is still one of the only players who can, you have to worry about him getting into a mode and taking over a game. Because he can do it.
That's the thing.
He can do it. He's done it.
I mean, so that kind of is my definition of like what makes somebody truly great at this game.
Right.
Is the people at the top where if things go right, before that game even starts, you've lost.
Yeah.
Like they're the people that if they get the right pack in the right arena, it's game over. And there are not that many people that can do it. Like Matt can do it. The five that I've mentioned so far can do it. And like that's the differentiator if like that person is an all-timer. Sometimes there's nothing you can do no matter who the fuck you are because everything lined up. Man, so I'll go with those five. I will give some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Cheetah.
I was just going to say that. I was like, you got to put Cheetah as an alternate on there.
You got to give all the grades, right?
Yeah.
Like Cheetah. Jesse Johnson. Jesse may be the best Wilsoner I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's part of my kind of dream going forward. I actually want to have an interview with that entire team. I want to get Black Ice together. Now that's hard. That's easier said than done. But I of all people want to interview Black Ice and talk about the old days because I mean they were such a force. My God, they how can you talk about the history of Laser Storm without Black Ice? There isn't.
Right, there is no history of Laser Storm.
They started. I mean, it would be page 1, in the book, Black Ice, Introduction to Laser Storm. There you go, dominant.
Yeah, so those, depending on like arena and whatnot, like those are the top 8 that I would put in there. And granted, this is just off the top of my head and off the top of the cuss. There's no disrespect to anybody else because there's also some other greats that easily go to Justin, Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
Ricky, Centipede.
Yep,
like another fantastic. I really want to think of other players outside, but
Pimp.
Who?
Pimp wasn't Jesse, right? Who had the alias Pimp?
I don't know who that is.
From Black
That
Ice.
was before my time. I never got to play against Black Ice. That's to say.
Best
I played
pod
against
runner.
them one time, I think, when you won your nationals with Justin, Nate, Fish.
Which is another one just for personal sake, I want to get us all together. I'm still friends with everybody, and I still talk to them, like here and there. I don't really talk to Justin that much, but Nate every once in a while, maybe a Facebook post. Chris sends some stuff over. I talk to Ricky a little bit more, Facebook and text. But that's a story in itself. I mean, that's a story I can't wait to tell because that's a story of a team that came together with a goal. They accomplished it, and then they instantly dissolved, never to be back again. And it's hard for me to live with that, but it's a pretty cool story at the same time. So that's something to be looking at, but this is Bill's interview, so we're not going to talk about that right now. We did talk about it. We unfortunately...
It's a podcast, so we can go back and forth.
Yeah, but we have unfortunately had, I hate to say it now, many players who have passed.
Yeah, that's another big struggle here.
It was, we're all still kind of young. Considering the game we play, the age we are is considered old because we're sportsmen. We're running around. We're bending. We're being athletic against kids who are in their 20s. But it's still kind of young to be losing people.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, we've lost. I mean, it seems like 1 to 2 a year for the past couple of years.
Yeah, so almost every year we've lost. Ohio lost Ez.
Yeah, Tom.
We lost Tom. That one still stings.
Yeah.
We lost Kirby.
Oh, Jeremy. Yep.
And that's just from Laser Storm. From like outside of Armageddon, I lost my friend Kat. I lost Kat and Tom within like the span of the year.
Yeah.
That was the real reason I walked away for a while.
Yeah.
It's just like I just can't deal with it anymore for a while. But yeah, no, the good die young.
Yeah. And I mean, when we were talking about in the interview, we were talking about one of your best memories, the tournament you were talking about.
I love it. It was so good.
Were
you there?
I was there.
I couldn't remember.
And one of my best memories was sitting at the table talking to Tom.
So that tournament was great for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I still have that, like, no shit, like in my bedroom, I have somebody made me a custom shelf like long ago.
Yeah.
And I have one trophy on it, and it's that trophy. Because
Yeah.
this is the last time it's not the last time we played, but it was the last tournament we won.
Yep.
We went to nationals after that, and we had a huge falling out because, good God, like, everybody was in an interesting place.
It happens.
It does. But yeah, that was the last time we won. Another fun fact of that tournament, in the double limb of the 8 games, I ended up playing 7 of them. I ended up playing 7 of them because, like, I got drafted as an alternate for somebody, and then Reflex got sick and couldn't play. So I had to fill in for Baker's team because they needed somebody of similar skill level and play style. So I'm like, all right, Bill, you do it. So I ended up playing almost every single game of that double limb.
Do you guys remember the tournament we played at Baker's where I won against you and with you? When I was an alternate, I got first and second.
Was that that one?
I don't think it was that one. It was another one, but I got first and second because I played a Baker's. You were on Baker's team at the time. You guys were short one. I can't remember if it was who's some of the guys you had play back.
It's always SK.
I think SK wasn't there.
SK.
So I subbed in, and I ended up winning first and second. And Baker gave me the trophy because I played so much. I never lost a game. Every team I played on won. And that was a great tournament.
What a fucking run, right?
And I remember because I came home to Lisa, and she's like, why do you have 2 trophies? I was like, I won first and second.
I was everywhere, man.
That was a great, and did I play good? I was just on, like, probably because I was playing every other game.
It's
but
a good feeling.
And you know what? Playing with 2 different teams.
When you're just like on no matter what.
Yeah, and I wanted. There was a part of me that the sportsman and the competitor in me. When I played for Retribution, my biggest rival, I wanted to matter. I wanted to help. I was like, no. I'm not just going to sit back. I'm going to help you win this freaking game. I'm going to show you I'm good. And I went in and I was wrecking people. And I remember a creep coming. I was like, Josh, you're like plus 20. I was going ham. Like, I was like, I'm letting them know I'm here to play. Damn it. I'm not phoning it in. I'm not going to sit back. Like, no. We're playing. Okay, so. What features? Well, wait. I do want to go back. I do want to talk about, because obviously Jeremy was, that was a tumultuous thing. We've all got to play with him, and Jeremy, like everybody, had his struggles, and it was kind of up and down. Tom was just kind of universally loved by everybody.
Oh yeah. I still hear that man in the arena.
Yeah, and that came out of nowhere. That was really hard for everybody. Easy was a little bit different. We only saw him at tournament time, and he was another polarizing person, kind of like us, and could be a little outspoken and brash, but still just a great player. And like you said, we've lost some from Armageddon. So I really hope that's something that ends. I know it's a part of life.
Yeah. And
I know there's still a lot of people. And then going all the way back. I do want to talk about Donnie. I don't know if that was before your time.
That was before my time. I don't really know
Donnie Coffin Lung used to work here and was one of the first people I met. He used to work back here with Uncle Kevin and Pete. And one of the first teams I put together on my own was Team Elite, and Donnie was on that team. It was me, Wyatt, Donnie, Ray.
Flash?
Yeah, Flash.
Oh, God, that's a blast from the past.
And Jeremy. And I think it was Jeremy. I'm going to have to double check. I can't remember if he was Team Elite or not. We ended up calling ourselves Team D-Elite because we went to Nationals in Colorado, and we did not win a game. I mean, we talked mad trash. This was when it was my team and Wicked Clowns. And once again, I can't play against the meta. Wicked Clowns was the dominant team.
Was that 97?
It was back. It was back there. But Donnie was on my team, and unfortunately, Donnie was the first one we lost to a motorcycle accident, and it kind of came out of nowhere. So, yes, we have a lot of people, and I am going to be doing some separate videos in the future. It's going to be a little bit more intensive because I want to get the background from people who knew them. I want to try and get some pictures together, some video if possible. And, do it right. I don't want to half-ass it, And I'm going to be doing little tributes to all the different players so that people in the community can get to know them, just to make sure, they're not forgotten. Like I said, there's positive and negatives to everybody. There'll be positive and negatives when I'm gone. It is the way it is. But I want them to be remembered for what they did because, it's not just the tournaments. It's not just the games. It's the time you spend. The time on the road, the time in the van driving to Colorado, like things like that. Those are the times you miss.
That's what I was like, what I was alluding to earlier is like why sometimes the struggle with the competition gets like so bullshit. It's like at some point I've known people I've played against and been rivals with longer than I have my actual friends.
Right.
Like quote unquote, like my close friends. So it's like, I've known Matt for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've known you for like 20 years,
Yep.
and it's like,
And we'll all go at each other.
oh, damn straight. Good
Oh
God.
my goodness! I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be remiss, and I do apologize. I mean,
Sure.
just most recently, Mike Brooks.
What was his name? What was his alias?
Oh, no, it's
Might have been by my time, before my time. I don't.
Yeah,
remember
that
his
Mike
name.
Brooks was another one who was in the van when we went to Colorado. He was
Oh, yeah,
Wicked
that's way
Clowns.
before my
That was
time.
Wicked
That's way
Clowns.
before.
Yeah, Brooksy.
Because like I didn't start to play until 2004, so like all those legends.
So Brooksy, this is hard to talk about my wife in a room here, but this was this was a long
okay.
time ago. But Brooksy was the other person in Laser Storm who was known to be a little bit of a ladies' man. So
gotcha.
he dated some people that worked at Laser Storm. We kind of dated the same people. But when we went to Colorado, that was the joke. Who was going to find chicks in Colorado? Stuff. And Brooksy was it was always fun. There was a nice little rivalry, not just in Laser Storm, but kind of how that would go, like kind of talking who was the smooth talker, this and that. And Brooksy was a good looking guy, and he had a really cool demeanor. So yeah, I miss him. I feel bad that I don't remember his alias, but like you said, we know so many people, and we meet so many people along the way.
Well, how do you think I feel? Like I've met so many people, not just from Storm. Like I know this entire community, but I've met people through Armageddon.
Right.
Like we were talking there. Like the amount of people that this community can bring in. If,
Yeah.
Like you expand yourself, like you really can meet so many and like touch so many lives. And
Yeah.
it's rough when you lose one of them.
Right.
But
But that's why I'm hoping people come and play. Because I think they're going to find a community, and even a crossover community. If people are watching my channel because they like my Yu-Gi-Oh content, there's so many people that played Storm and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I went to tournaments and I'm playing people from Storm, even if I wasn't friends with them. I'm like, wait, don't you play Laser Storm? And I remember Maloney. I played Maloney one time at a tournament, and I wasn't even friends with him at the time. I was like, you play Yu-Gi-Oh? He's like, yeah. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is so weird. There's a lot of crossover in those communities, but sometimes there's people who play Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or Dungeons and Dragons feel like they don't have a lot of friends or they're outcasts. We've all been there. And then you come to Laser Storm and you find a bunch of like-minded people, and you find people you're friends with forever. Some people found their person here. I mean, we have marriages, we have kids, we have people that have gotten together that way. So, if you're looking for a community to belong to, come try it,
I mean, like I can attest to that. Like the closest friends I have now I've met through here.
Yeah.
Like I still do. Like I was at Maloney's Christmas party.
Yeah.
We see each other and go to Gen Con every year.
Yeah. Oh, Gen Con. Yeah, I see. You guys make me so jealous when you post that stuff. Do you notice I'm always one of the first ones to comment? I'm like,
like Chachi, it's to the point now where we rent like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And we stay over a week long there. So it's
and
not
I might
just
have to get in on this because I miss
talk to
Gen
Maloney,
Con.
you're going to be welcome. Because we're trying to get Ross Nappy, because we were talking about the Christmas party that you're going to
Yes.
DJ at his wedding.
Yes, I'm DJing Ross Nappy's wedding.
Speaking
and
of like communities that,
yes.
because he knows Mike from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And he is a great ambassador for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I do want to send a shout out to Nappy. He's a great ambassador for Painful Truth Gaming. He likes all my stuff. He comments on my stuff. I'm actually going to be sending him some merch. He asked for a hat and stuff. And I've known Nappy since he was 11.
Yep.
11. Funny story about Gen Con. Last time I was at Gen Con in Indianapolis, me and Nappy went, and we both placed.
Nice.
In a field of 300.
That's crazy.
We both placed.
That's a compliment.
We were going to have to play each other first and second, and we decided to just let it go. We didn't play each other because the top 4 got invites.
Right.
So we never found out who would have won that match. But we both placed, and we rode with Jerome, who was the top judge. He came with us, and we stopped at a Shoney's on the way home, and I ate the rarest steak I've ever ate. Weird things you remember, right? I like a rare steak, and I told the guy at Shoney's I want a rare steak. I swear to God, this thing was blue, and I ate it. and Nappy, I have a picture at 11 years old. He's down here, I'm up here, and boy, was that great. And then the security let us go on because it's attached to Indianapolis's field.
Yeah.
And they let us go in and run on the field.
Yeah.
And it was just, cool memories all around.
Well, it's expanded to the point where they now run a bunch of stuff in Lucas Oil.
Oh, that's just nuts. I have to go back.
It takes over all of downtown these days. It is such a...
I would love to go back and try that.
We started going like a week now because, Gen Con. Like
Yes.
From you wake up to you go to sleep, you're just gaming.
Right.
Gaming. We've found that we didn't have enough time to do other things. So now we just do a whole week so we can hang out.
Right.
But just to bring it back to your point, yeah, that wouldn't happen if I didn't come down and play laser tag, and Mike didn't come down and play laser tag with people like the Conjurins.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be friends with them today without it.
You meet so many people. And I told my wife when we first met, because because, I had to expose her to everything to make sure she was the one.
Yeah.
First I'm the DJ and I'm the cool guy and I got the sports car and I'm picking her up.
Yeah, you already have that working against you.
Yeah, I'm DJing outside the arena for the Penguins play, and I just look like the coolest dude ever, but, like everybody else, I got secrets. So, I always said the funny part was by the third date, that's when my deck came out, my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Third date, she had to see my deck. So I pulled out my Yu-Gi-Oh card to see if she's okay with it. And then the question you get, I'm sure you've got, what are all those trophies for? And you have to tell them it's not for like a real sport. It's, I'm really good at laser. Okay, it is a real sport, but it's not like hockey or baseball.
I lean into that shit. That shit's on my dating profile. I shit you not.
I will be.
He wanted food and he went out and bought a grill and then came over and he had it all.
Yep.
Pieces and put together the grill and then grilled me like steak, ribs.
I had to get her ready.
Butter her up for
I
that,
had to get her ready. Like,
no.
She passed the Yu-Gi-Oh and then she passed the laser storm, and I was like, okay, I might have to marry her. Like, that's very rare. Now you have more girls that are into gaming, and you have gaming girls. A lot of them are streamers. So it's a little bit easier. But back then, you couldn't find a good-looking girl that liked the games.
Nah, man. I don't hide that shit. Like all my dating profiles, I put that as like an interesting fact. Like I'm a laser tag world champion, and I
think I should link his dating profile.
It's good God no. But it stems from like just having something unique.
Yes,
something different.
You know what? And to that, I will say I've brought it up in a lot of job interviews. Tell me something interesting about you. I'm a Laser Storm World Champion, and they love it because it's teamwork. I've been the captain of Laser Storm World Champion. I've led my team. I've talked. I've told them what to do, and oh my God, that it helped get a lot of jobs. But it's a cool thing. You gain not just a sense of community here, but you're able to come out. We had a lot of very introverted people when we first met them who are no longer introverted. We can say they are out there just doing their thing. And I think a lot of that comes from the people you meet and the things you learn here.
I could speak a ton on that, but
Go ahead.
I got piss like a racehorse.
Well, could it have anything to do with the 10 energy drinks?
A little bit. Give me a second.
All right, go ahead. I'm still holding it in. I'm not breaking the seal just yet.
Well, it's already been done. I can't help it.
So while Bill goes to take a pee, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the podcast here. Definitely check out the video. It is, as we said, highly edited. If there's anything you want to see in the future, please let me know. I am going to have more interviews coming up, not just with people from Laserstorm. As we were talking about Ross Nappy from Yu-Gi-Oh, he is on my list, and that is someone we definitely want to speak to. He's been one of the top Yu-Gi-Oh TCG players for years. Also, Cam Rosinski, who is someone who I was very lucky enough to grow up next to, who was a dominant high school football player and actually got a scholarship to play D1 football. We're going to talk to him about what it's like to play football on a competitive scale and the pressures of going to a D1 school and where that's going to lead him. As you know, I'm all about gaming in every aspect. I don't like to, just lean into one topic. I want to cover all types of different games, all types of different strategies. So if there's anyone you would like to see me interview or anyone you would like to hear from, make sure to let me know in the comments or send me a message, and I'll make sure to see if I can get them lined up as well. All right, Bill, so we have had you here for hours. We have had tons of energy drinks. You've gone to the bathroom at least 6 times.
Dude, there's so much energy.
I don't think it's going to end.
Right through,
I don't think it's going to end throughout the night. So I have asked you a bunch of questions. This is where I'm kind of just going to turn it over to you.
All right.
Talk about whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to share with people, and I'm just going to let you have the floor, and I'm going to shut up.
How about I interview you a bit?
Oh my goodness, I wasn't prepared for that. Let's do that. Okay, yeah. As they say in Step Brothers, that can sometimes be a healthy exercise. So let's do that.
So, Chach,
yes.
Tell me, who influenced your game the most?
Oh, honey, I was not prepared for any of this. So that's a good question. So when I first started playing, like I said, I was always a person who liked to go against the meta. I would probably say Pete Godoin. And
no shit?
Yes.
No shit?
Yes.
Pete was my first real mentor.
Are you serious?
Everything I credit all my success to Pete.
Now, see, that's interesting because I'm polar opposite of that.
Okay.
Me and Pete were rivals. So if you asked me who my biggest rival was, it'd be Pete. Now, credit to Pete. Pete got me into Laserstorm. He recognized me playing in an open game, thought I was pretty good, asked me if I wanted to play against members. I did. I actually went positive against members. Instantly signed me up. And then was inviting me down, got me in the leagues. But then we soon became rivals. We liked the same people. had very different views of things. We could both be a little cocky.
Sure.
But Pete was very good at his side Wilson. Pete was very good at being sneaky. And I kind of adapted my game to beat Pete because that became my biggest thing. So it's funny that, like you say, he mentored you and helped you play, and the way he played kind of shaped how I played on a different view because I just wanted to beat him.
So, good segue into my Pete story and why. Because, like, obviously, for those that don't see or don't know, I don't play anything like Pete.
Yeah.
Because Pete, very defensive, kind of there.
Yes.
But, so back in the day when I was like really starting out, this was back when Pete joined Blood Dumpster. He replaced Ada. Because they needed somebody like more consistent and with some of the aspects Pete brought. What we used to do back in the day, back when Joe used to work and close the store down on Thursdays, after we closed the store down, we do 2-on-2s for like an hour or two. And we would always do Joe and Mike versus me and Pete. Pete, for whatever reason, saw something in me. Well, I mean,
he was good at that. He was good at picking.
Really,
I mean, he picked me out of an open game.
He's
not to say I'm the greatest player ever, but who does that?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing happened. It might have been the leagues or like just playing against me and whatnot. But like, I guess Pete took a shining to me, and so like we would play 2v2 all against Mike and Joe. And this was back when I was like really, really fresh. I can say to this day, Pete and I never won a game against them.
Yeah.
Mainly because like I sucked, but the thing I took away from it is that like Pete taught me how to think the game, and it wasn't so much about skill at Wilson or skill at this. That the entire game is about angles,
right?
Understanding angles and listening and communicating with your teammates.
Yes,
which was something that at the time wasn't being taught to me from all these people.
Right.
But like Pete instilled the higher level thinking and like game theory into like how I play. And so that's how I started attacking things like through angles, and that's why my game is more, while I'm an offensive player, what I'm really doing is I'm playing the game as an area of control,
yeah.
Right? It's so most people simplify it into like plus minus, who has more points than the other, but the game really is who's controlling most of the arena, and the score is a reflection of that.
Right.
And sometimes you've got to just taking off the more valuable pieces of that arena is more important than, say, like hitting the pod. So it's all about making sure your team is on the same wavelength and understanding which angles to cut down. And I took that from an offensive point of view because I like playing offense.
Right.
And keeping that kind of like pace and understanding of what's going on in the game. And that's how eventually I developed my game to where it is right now, because, yeah.
And I'm probably going to bring you back, if that's okay, when we get into the, because I'm really looking forward to getting into the advanced parts of Laser Storm.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to bring you back when we talk about that, because that's going to be some level 3 stuff. But, I still got to get through level 1, which I promise is coming. It's just not easy to come and shoot that much content because it's not a full-time thing yet. But if I get more subscribers, it could be. You understand? I'm actually pointing to a camera that's not on. We're on a podcast. We're on a podcast, and I'm pointing to the camera. I've already been affected. All right, first question down. What else you got for me?
All right. So you asked it to me.
Yes.
But like I want to throw it back at you.
Oh, Jesus.
Not an all-time team, but like if you could form a team right now.
Yeah.
Of 5 players or 4 other players to play with, who would you want to play with?
Yes, definitely me on D, because I feel like if we're playing against the aliens, they ain't getting in my pod. I take it personally.
This isn't a versus aliens. It's just like, all right. You just
tough fight. So,
you just want to form a team of people you want to play.
I would go Matt.
For one tournament.
Definitely Warman. I miss him. And that's where it gets a little tricky, because I have been on teams with so many really good people. Mm-hmm. So that's 3. I only got 2 left.
It's tough, isn't it?
It is. And unfortunately, I have to leave Kirby out of this, nothing on a personal level, just because we played together so much. I was actually his first captain, which was one thing he alluded to on a Facebook post one time. He said if he ever come back, he would only play for me, which was pretty cool. But, he did spend time on rival teams afterwards. We kind of started together and then split, and he was on different teams, and he became very hard to play against. And I'm a big player, like you said, on gelling with people and playing a certain way. So I would have to say,
ooh, I forgot fucking Baker in the top all time too.
Yeah,
There's up there as well.
I would have. And I gotta put Reflex on there, just because I see him as like a younger me. We play so similar, and like we are such a good. I would just want him on my team. I wouldn't want to play against him, so I got to put him on by default. So that leaves me one more person. And I gotta go Nader. I had so much fun playing with Nate Brailer, and we came up with so many little sayings. We had such a good time. So I think just for the fun factor and the fact that when Nate got going in the middle, like when he started talking back, you were in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think that would just be a fun team. I don't know if we would be the most ultimate, unbeatable team.
That team's
but
getting in a
man,
fight.
we would. Oh, we're definitely getting in a
That
fight.
team's getting in a fight.
Oh my God. I was on a team where we were getting disqualified and I wasn't taking penalties. That's a problem. We had so much trash talk between Nate, Chris, and Phoenix that my God, I couldn't even keep control of them. So yeah, that was a great. So that would be my team. Definitely.
All right. Follow up.
Yeah.
What's the best team you've ever been on?
Undisputed.
Yeah.
I would put Undisputed against anybody. That team was formed to beat Dump Truck specifically. Mm-hmm. I was the captain of that team. I put that team together, not grabbing the best players in Storm because some of the best players were on other teams. Like some of the best players that were still here.
You had Justin and
we had good
Ricky.
people.
You had Justin and Ricky.
We
Justin,
did.
Hold on. I'm going to fucking challenge this. Hold on. Back the fucking fun talk up.
But I didn't
don't
just
have some of the
handpick
best. You had fucking Justin and Ricky at like their primes. The fuck you mean you didn't pick some of the best players?
Right, but we had all been playing together in some of the 3-on-3 tournaments, which I'm actually going to be bringing back, by the way. That is a little thing that you're only going to know if you listen to the podcast. I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to be bringing back the 3-on-3 tournaments. I'm just trying to figure out the format. But we'd been playing together in some of the 3-on-3s, but we didn't play. I'd been playing with different people. I've been playing with Fish. I played on regional teams with Nut. I played on regional teams with different people. I was even on, I think, with Llama one time. So, there was other people I could have got, but the way the dynamics of the team worked out, we wanted me and Ricky on defense because the way me and Ricky played was very complementary. We moved around. No one knew where we were. We had Chris in the middle, which was just a given, and then Nate and Justin rushing. Who's going to stop a 2-tier attack with Nate and Justin running? And we didn't play a regional.
No,
we were created for nationals to beat Dump Truck. And I remember someone coming to me, who's the kid who's from, I don't know if it's Colorado, who always plays it, goes back and play. I forget his name now. And I apologize because I know you've commented on my stuff before. He comments on a lot of my hockey stuff. He's a big Colorado Avalanche fan. Who is that?
Guy, give me more.
Smaller kid, plays really good on 3 foot. Really good on the 3 foot.
I have no idea.
Always travels here for nationals.
Always travels from that 3 foot play?
Always here.
Honestly have no idea.
Okay, but anyway, I'll think of it, and I promise I'll go back and edit this. He actually came up to me, and I remember after the round robin, he goes, "So you guys actually think you could beat Dump Truck or what?"
And Dump Truck was undefeated at that time.
I was so offended when he said that. I was like,
But they beat you twice in a round robin.
right, but I was like, why can't we beat Dump Truck? Well, Dump Truck's just killing everybody. They're going to run through this tournament. I was like, oh, no. Oh, no, they're not. And I was so pissed from that point. And one of the things I loved so much about that team is when we finally did go in and we beat them in the first round, first time we played them, they lost their shit.
They crumbled.
Joe came outside and was screaming. And I remember we went in Ready Room 1 and Ricky played guitar. And we just sat there. And we just sat there and just cooled out. We didn't care because we had no pressure. We had no pressure on us. That team was losing their mind. Ricky's just playing guitar. And then they were like, you guys are up again. I was like, okay, cool. And that first time we beat them, I celebrated because Henry Fong was there. And who, of course, for those of you who don't know, Henry Fong is a killer DJ now. Yeah. And I always, and I will never take credit for this. Please don't take it this way. But he did come up to me at the tournament and ask me about DJing.
Sounds like taking credit to me.
What I liked about it. But I told him I was an event DJ. I was a wedding DJ. Obviously, that's not what he did. Yeah. But, he was reffing the pod. And the first game when we beat him, we had celebrated so hard. I was like pounding my chest, like right in front of him. And he just looked at me and he was smiling because he knew we were so into it.
Yeah,
and
focused.
And then by the time we had to play him again, I feel like they had no chance because we were just in a zone. We were somewhere else. And I've never gotten back to that. I've never played at that level again. We were not going to lose. Yeah. And we dominated them.
That feeling, yeah. We've been there where it's just like, this is yours to lose.
And we dominated them the second game even easier. Like we beat them 10 times easier.
Well, you broke them.
Yeah, and we didn't even celebrate that hard the second time. We celebrated hard the first time. We kind of because we felt it, and then that team sadly broke up. We all went to my house. I will say they were underage, but we all drank at my house. No one left. Everybody spent the night. We drank out of the trophies. We had a
Very Stanley Cup.
Yeah, we had a fun night. They all passed out on my couch, and we all remained friends, and we made a pact. We would not play again unless we all played together. And that screwed me because they all left and went their separate ways, and I didn't play for 2 years because of that, because I was holding the pact.
Yeah.
I would not, and finally I had to say, hey, I'm going to come back and play. But that team, I've never seen anything like it. I've never gelled with anyone like that. I've never had that much fun. And to me, I would bring that team back in a second. As a matter of fact, Joe Daniewicz, if you're listening, I know there was a time when you wanted it. He wanted me to get that team back together. And I was like, bring it. If I get that team back together, you're not beating us. And I'm sure he will argue that to me to this day.
That would be a very interesting kind of like time capsule event if you brought that team together.
My
and,
God.
A team of like the modern players, say, because that was 2000s.
And I know Joe did work hard. He wanted to get Dump Truck back together, which sadly, because of Jeremy, we can't do now.
Yeah.
But he tried. He tried hard to get Dump Truck back together. He wanted it.
Yeah.
And he, part of doing that was to steal Matt off me. And
I mean, of course.
yes, Paul Eccles. Thank you, honey. Eccles, I'm so sorry, buddy.
You said short. I was like,
Well, he's not short. He plays low.
He plays low. Yeah.
But Paul, that's who we're talking about. Paul's a good friend. He reaches out all the time. We talk trash every time the Pens
That's
play.
who I was thinking, but when you said small, I was
Yeah,
like, I don't think
he
that's small.
came up to me and he said that, and I'll never forget that as well, because I was like, "What the hell do you mean?" Like, we're here to beat Dump Truck. We're going to beat Dump Truck. Like, that's what's going to happen, and we did. So yeah, that was a really long-winded answer, but that was a great memory you brought up, and just great people. I mean, I love everyone on the team. Out of all of them, me and Phoenix didn't get along the best. We weren't always the best of friends. We didn't really hang out. But I mean, if I could get us all back together, I'd take it in a second.
I feel that.
All right, give me one more, and then I think I'll need to go sleep us off.
Give you one more.
Give me one more good question.
All right. Of all the people you've played against,
Yeah.
who is the one you're not looking forward to being on the other side? That's not Matt. Or give me a top three. Top three players like.
Yeah, I could definitely give you top three. Jeremy would have been one.
Yeah.
For sure, because I started playing with him, and I always gave myself a little pat on the back for recognizing it, because Jeremy started working here and I watched him play. And the first time I watched him play, I was like, I'm going to get this kid on my team before anybody else does. And I did. I mean, I struck first. I was like, you should come play for me. We should play regionals together. Because I was like, Jesus, this kid is ridiculous. And, we grabbed him, and then Jeremy ended up becoming Juggernaut. He's on my team. But then the bad part of that was he realized how good he was, and he jumped teams.
Now, I'd heard rumor
Yes.
that before, one of the reasons Jeremy was so good, and I can't remember who I heard this from, was that before he came and worked here and played here, he actually played a ton of games at Harmerville Laser Tag when he worked there.
That is, I can confirm that was true. My DJs were doing the DJing for All Night Bowling there, Fun Fest.
Yeah.
We did that for many years. And yeah, Jeremy did get to play there a lot. That's where he worked first.
Yeah.
And then he came here. So yeah, but I mean, he was amazing.
Oh yeah, no.
I could not, and I will say it to this day, I could not beat Jeremy. I just couldn't. No matter how many times we played, he would always rack me on plus minus.
The best way to beat Jeremy is ignore Jeremy.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, Jeremy was one of those players, of which there is many, that decides it's just fun to come after me. So, yeah, he would find out where I'm at. He would pin me to a certain part of the arena, and just our play styles didn't mess up. So I have no problem saying that I don't think I could ever beat Jeremy, and that's why I wanted him on my team. So that would be number one. Chris, number two.
Yeah,
Once again, had to have him on my
the
team. Chris's over-the-top shot was disgusting, and I could never beat him. Ever. Third, I'd have to say I struggle tremendously with Gumby. And that's somebody I played against my whole life.
Yeah.
And I just, playing defense, when he gets in his zone and he wants to go in a finger and he wants to press, there's not much I can do about it. I have jumped on him. I've danced. I've hidden. I've tried everything. I like to think I have a lot of tools at my disposal. I play a lot of different ways, but in no way do I type of play does it work. I've been okay against, most of Retribution. I struggle with Baker sometimes for sure, because he's a left-handed shot. And then the only one I will throw in, I don't want to say is an honorable mention, because like you said, you could kind of take Chris and Jeremy out for everybody. Llama.
Yeah, lefties always give fucking trouble.
He has that shot that's his, and I'm going to profile that shot. Trust me. When I go over, he's the only one who shoots that way, where he holds his gun out and he goes up and down, and I can't hit it. I can't. I've tried. It gives me fits.
You
And
want to know what the secret is to hitting that?
please.
Shoot where it was.
I
Always
try,
coming back down.
but
So,
he hits a different peak
don't,
every
like, try to
time.
find it. Just
Right.
go like right down.
So you gotta get it when he comes
at the bottom
down.
of his angle. Just shoot.
See,
there.
I'm trying to shoot it
He'll
at the
come into
apex.
it. He'll come
Okay.
into it. Now that only works when he's not practiced.
Right.
When Dan is like in shape and doing it, like he's too quick for that.
Yeah.
So you just gotta kind of like wait for him to come out a bit and get his headset.
Yeah. Now the third I will throw in there because, like I said, if we're going to interchange, Jeremy and Chris, is Fred. I struggled.
That's an interesting one.
I struggled mightily against Fred my whole career. Me and Fred were not the best of friends. We didn't get along at all. We argued, and then things took a turn, and me and Fred became friends. Fred was at my wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, believe it or not. Fred, we just met him and his girlfriend for lunch a couple months ago with Lisa and the child came up to Cheesecake Factory and had a nice little conversation with them. But Fred's top shot over the 7 foot for someone that's playing defense sucks.
Yeah.
And I had a very hard time because I play low.
Especially you play low.
I play low.
That angle is just horrible for you.
It always is. And I've said that on my instructional videos. The player going over the top has the advantage. Yes, they do. So, yeah, that would be but if you notice me being the strategist that I am, I've always tried to play with those people. As soon as I recognize and we've played together. We've played together
very briefly, but
we play the same style, so it's hard.
Oh, no, we don't.
Well, when I was running pod, we did. I was a pod runner at the beginning of my career. I only went to defense when I got old. And you still do it, which is amazing. But I will say, that's something you worked on and I admire about you is you saw that your body was giving you trouble trying to play the position you play. Pod runner's not easy. And you made changes in your lifestyle and you made changes to what you do. And you got your body to where it needs to be to continue to do that, and it made you even better. So that's something I respect you for immensely. As someone who lost a bunch of weight, got ripped for a very short time, and then unfortunately lost it because I had hip surgery and I lost it. I know the commitment that takes. Okay. And you had a horrible injury.
Tore my Achilles.
Yes, which I would like to talk about when I shift this back over to you. But you came back from a horrible injury and you came back stronger, and you're playing. I have had to run pod on Matt's team a couple times. If we don't have Amanda, I've had to be versatile, and I always joke about it. 'Cause I'm like, why am I the one running pod? But you continue to do that on a high-level team, especially when you're playing for Retribution, and it's very hard for us because you have some kick-ass snipers behind you, and then to deal with you in the front. I have no problem saying as your opponent, like, that sucks. It's not something we look for.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's something we game plan for. It's not something we like to isolate you the same way you guys like to isolate me. If we can get you isolated away from creep and reflex, it's a little easier, but that's about easier said than done.
Yeah, a little easier.
But yeah, if I can throw this back on you, talk about that, because I've never. I did have hip surgery, I had labrum surgery, but I was already out of Laser Storm at the time. So it's not something that really hindered me. So talk to me about what it was like to be, at the top level of your game and then have that happen.
So, it's devastating, right? Because I did it practicing for nationals.
Yeah.
And after my team had fallen apart, we had reformed it. It was going to be me, Amanda, AJ, Emily, and Spider, and it was a pretty decent team.
Oh yeah.
That probably based on the competition.
I miss Spider.
Yeah, Matt was a good player.
He's a good guy.
We were going to be in contention, right? The only people that could have bought. I think you were playing at that time. You were. It was you, Jeremy, Matt, and then I think 2 other people on your team.
Jabber,
right. So it wasn't the best lineup, but it would have been a good match.
And I think Skeletor, yeah.
So that's right before that happened. I completed the Pittsburgh Marathon. It's the first marathon I ever ran. So I was technically at the top of my game endurance wise. And I'll never forget, we were practicing here, and it was the summer, getting ready, and I went to shoot over a 7 foot, made my shot, I landed, I felt like I kicked the back of the barrel. You know how the ones with the sand in, you feel like you landed and you hit them, it's like shit?
Yeah.
I felt like I had kicked it, but really my Achilles just kind of blew out.
Oh my God.
And I just hit the ground. So I went, AJ took me to the emergency room, not the emergency room, but a Med Express. And they immediately were yeah, you got to see, I don't know what the doctor type is, but sports medicine for feet. So I go there, and getting lined up for an MRI, the doctor comes in, he's like, well, before we do an MRI, let me feel it just to see how bad it is. And so he feels my Achilles. He's like, oh yeah, we don't need an MRI. You need surgery like immediately.
Oh, wow. They
So
could just tell.
Yeah, he could just tell. So he's like, okay. So we scheduled the surgery. It's outpatient surgery in a week. And I'm going in, getting ready. And he's like, well, since we didn't do an MRI, we don't know the extent of the damage. But I do have to tell you that there is a small percentage chance, like 5% chance, that you've completely ruptured your Achilles tendon and it's beyond repair.
Yeah.
And we'll have to do a transplant surgery. Because like it rarely happens. We don't know what it's going to be like when we get in there, but we just have to tell you just in case. That might be a possibility.
Right.
So I go under. I wake up like 4 hours later. The first thing they say to me, so we had to do transplant surgery.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. Yeah. So here's an interesting thing about tendons. Tendons are unique to the human body.
Yeah.
You can't man-make them. So there's nothing
is
to
it
replace them.
cadaver? Or?
No, you actually can't take anybody else's.
Okay.
So what they do is they have to take a tendon from somewhere else in your body and move that to your Achilles.
Where did they take it?
So they took a tendon in my foot
Yeah.
that controls my big toe, and that is my new Achilles. So now I can walk again. I can't bend my big toe. It's just like straight up. It doesn't move. But that's a trade I'll make any day of the week.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's so
you-
interesting, though.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I had no idea. So then I had to go through months of physical therapy. I had to learn to walk again, let alone come back and play laser tag, which
Right.
I was itching to do. I don't know if you were around back then, but like
I remember.
I came back in the fucking boot and still ran pod in it.
I remember getting the news you weren't playing. Like I said, it's
Right, at Nationals.
it's a
I remember
juxtaposition.
the joke because didn't Kirby like disappear the night before? And like I came to watch the finals. You're like, Bill, you might be going in if you don't show up.
Yes.
Like, we'll put you on the back. It don't matter.
Like, of course, like I said, I always want to try and remember the people who aren't with us anymore, just good things. But yeah, Kirby did have some struggles at the end. For those of you who are familiar with Kanye West, I think they had very similar personalities towards the end.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I'm not a doctor. But, just things would get out of hand. And yes, he went rogue and disappeared. And here we are the day of the tournament. And they started the tournament. He wasn't there. And you did show up. And I remember, and I was like, we're going to put you against the wall. I'm going to run pod and you're going to have to play. And the best part is, you were down.
I would have done it.
I was like, I'm going to do it.
Not only would I have done it, like we've easily.
We would have won, yeah.
Like I'm on one leg and I'm still better. Than
And then
half the
Jeremy
people
showed
playing.
up, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little upset because I was mad. And I was like, I don't
What
know.
a story that would have been.
Oh, I don't know if I want to win nationals with this guy now because I was a little pissed off. But I do remember. But it's always weird because that's what was cool is we were on different sides. So as an opponent, I remember getting the news you weren't playing.
Yeah.
And I thought they kicked you off for some reason. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm like, no, he got hurt. And I was like, oh shit, okay, now it's not awesome. And he got hurt bad. And I was like, and I remember saying, is he going to play again? And I don't know. He might not. And I was like, no, we can't have Bill not play. That's not a thing. We can't play the storm without Bill. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
And they're like, well, he's not going to play anytime soon. So I do remember how sad that was, especially being a local tournament. You want to have everybody there.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good that you
were
showed
the
up.
Best there, too.
Right. It was good that you showed up and finding out the extent of the injury. I mean, I was obviously concerned, and I knew what was ahead of you, and so I was so glad that you were able to come back and play, especially at the level you did.
Oh, I'm better than I was then.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, it did force me to change my game.
Yeah.
Because like one of the I just had a brain fart from all the fucking.
Dude, we have so much energy drinks in our brain right now. It's a magic river. I feel like I don't know, I can't even put it into words what I feel like right now.
Right?
I feel lighter than air. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I
You're
can
on
float
top
away
now.
at any. Yeah, I feel like I can float away at any second, but I also don't feel good.
Yeah.
I feel sick.
Well, like that's the thing with our game is that the game constantly changes. And you've got to adapt. And sometimes you're forced to adapt for shitty reasons. But
Yeah.
if you're standing still, you're just going to get passed by everybody else.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. All right, let me give you one more question.
Okay. All right. This is it. Shit, I can just imagine.
Top 3 pod rushers ever.
Oh, damn.
Pod rushers or
Why are you
offensive
better
players?
at this than me? This is making me. I'm going to let Bill do it.
It's at Doctor.
Wait a minute, honey.
Do you want a co-host?
What if we have Bill interview Matt
Oh, that would
and drink energy drinks?
love the interview, Matt.
And I could just mediate it.
That's what I was going to say. I think you can host the meeting.
Folks, I think this is happening. We're coming back. Stay tuned. I think that's happening.
If you have a battle, like.
Oh, that would be great. Okay, so
I've
top
battled Matt enough in my goddamn life. I don't want
top 3 pod runners.
Pod
Yeah.
runners, offensive players.
Yeah, I'm putting you on there because, You know, being completely honest, because we're always honest with each other. That's one of the reasons we're friends. There's been times I've thought you've been easy to play against and you've been easy to hit.
There were times I was.
And there's a lot of times, same with me. You know, there's been times I know I could get you off your game. If I get you pissed off, you're going to get rattled. But there's also been times where if you're doing your thing and you're in your position, there's nothing we can do about it. And I've had to have those conversations. So if there's a player I have to have that conversation about, they instantly get elevated to that. I've had to go in and talk to my team, including Matt and, Amanda, and just be like, look, Bill's going to be in this spot. I'm playing defense. I don't know if I'm going to keep him out. So logistically, here's what we're looking at. He's going to get 2 to 3. I'm pretty confident. I've said before, I've gone into tournaments and played against teams and said they will not hit a pot. And I take that shit personally. They are not going to hit it. I've told Matt, go up, leave me alone. They won't hit it. And they won't. I've had to be honest, like, look, he's going to get 2 or 3. And you're going to have to make that up. So you guys are going to have to run 2 or 3, whatever. You're going to have to get those pods back. And then we're going to have to beat them on player hits. And
You know
that's
what the fun part is?
What's that?
I'm never focusing on the pod.
I know that's the thing, but just playing the middle, just playing the middle, like you said, and controlling the area, and then being opportunistic. Because if you get it, you're going to get it. And I know that playing D, he's going to control the middle, and I'm going to focus on him. If he hits me, he's getting it because he's going to hit me on cycle, and I know that. So, but what can I do? I can't change my game at this point based on the layout of the arena, based on where we're playing, based on how our teams are playing. I know my job, I know your job, and I'm a realist, so I know our capabilities. And if you get me, that's it.
That's it.
And I've had it. So yes, I would put you on that because I've had to have those conversations. And to be honest, that's why you're here. I could have picked anybody for my first interview, and I wanted to have you because of our stories and how different they are and the way you play. So yeah, you're definitely on there. Phoenix at his peak. Rigetti was the way he would run in and time the pod was very hard to stop. That's another reason I wanted. We weren't the greatest of friends. If anything, we argued a lot and we went at each other a lot. But I had to have him on my team because I couldn't have him running pod against me. That's just how it is. And then I would probably say, I know you weren't familiar with Pimp. He was Colorado and he just could not be stopped. The tournament we were at, he had most pod hits. When we played in Kansas, he would just get in. So Pimp, anyone who's played against him, I think will give him the nod. The kid was a beast.
Yeah.
He could run in and hold his own on the way in and then hold the pod. And I put it this way. When we were in Kansas, we had me and Warman on him to stop him. He still got through. So
that's some impressive shit.
Well, he got through in the round robin. Then when we got to the tournament, we got super serious. And me and Chris made a pact. He's not hitting one. He's not hitting, and he didn't. We still lost, but he didn't hit a pod. They beat us on player hits, and that was part of Eric Johns with his bullshit underneath the barrel or underneath the thing shot that we had never seen before. It was the first time we saw it, and we couldn't hit it.
Like flick shot.
Flick shot under the hanging.
Oh, that's nice.
And he would just position himself like that, and which you can't see on the podcast. And but we'll go over it. They beat us on player hits with that, but he never got the pod. Yeah. The fun part is halfway through he stopped running it because they didn't need it. So, but me and Chris didn't let up a pod. So we lost that game and we were celebrating. He didn't hit a pod. We still lost. We don't care.
Yeah, moral victory.
He was going to beat us anyway, which they won that tournament. I mean, they won Colorado. They won Kansas. They won everything in their area.
Black Ice was insane.
Yeah, Black Ice was stupid. So yeah, that would be my top 3. But yeah, you're on there for that reason. If I have to game plan against you, which I've had to do many times, and Joe Daniewicz, I know you're probably on there cussing me out right now. F Chachi does. Joe, I'm sorry. I've played against you too many times. I've struggled sometimes, but to be honest, you and I love Mizza to death. Mizza, I'm sorry. I've never had the game plan for you guys. I know how you're going to run in. I know what you're going to do. That doesn't mean you're not going to hit it. That doesn't mean you're not going to hit it. But I have not had to change my playing style against either one of you. So I'm sorry, but I've had to do that for Bill. So come for me in the comments if you like.
There you go.
I'm just being honest.
No, I got you.
So, Bill, thank you once again. I'm going to shake your hand on podcast. 3 hours. Give this man a big round of applause. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We have some other interviews coming up. Like I said, they're going to be with all different people, but I'm very happy that my first interview was with Bill. I think we got really cool stuff, a lot of stuff I didn't know. So I don't even care, to be honest. I love all my listeners, but I don't even give a shit if no one listens because I had a good time and we got to drink some cool energy drinks. So if people listen, cool. If they don't, I have this forever.
All right. Well, I hope to be back.
You will definitely be back.
We've got way more stories.
I think we did, and I think we got to get together on. Even if you're not going to play, I think we need to get together and do some. I think George would like if we did some tournament streaming.
Oh, for sure.
Me and you both.
Absolutely.
That would be some very. What's the volleyball movie? Dodgeball-esque. Dodgeball, yeah.
Dodgeball, yeah.
Me and you. Cotton and
Bold move.
Cotton and whatever the other guy's name is.
All right, thanks, Josh.
That's it. Thank you. Hit the button.